Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number one, Ohio State's on the road for the first time this season. Buckeyes are 7.5-point favorites at 3-0 Washington. It'll be a 3:30 p.m. kick Saturday from Husky Stadium. Washington hasn't lost in Seattle since 2021. We'll have Buckeyes and Huskies pregame coverage starting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. In the NFL last night, the Seahawks beat the Cardinals 23-20 in Arizona. Seattle's Jason Meyer hit a 52-yard field goal as time expired to lift the Seahawks to 3-1 on the season. In baseball last night, the Tigers beat the Guardians 4-2. Both teams are 86-73 and share first place in the AL Central, but Cleveland owns the tiebreaker with 3 games left. Guardians host the Rangers tonight at 7:10, and the 45th Ryder Cup is underway at Bethpage Black with 4 morning foursomes. Justin Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau of Team USA are all square through 7 with John Rahm and Terrell Hatton of Team Europe. This update is sponsored by Behind the O. Buckeye fans, Behind the O is now in the App Store, free for fans, NIL for athletes.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lesmeries joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Oh, baby, let's do it live on a Football Friday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. We are loaded up, as would be the case. 9:30, we will meet the Washington Huskies. 10 o'clock, a little bit of learned and earned. 10:30, Tim Megan to stop by for his perspective on this big one out in Seattle. 11 o'clock, pay attention to and make sure that you know the scores. This is a massive weekend across the sport in college football, and Doug dropping by at 11:30. College football at its core was a insular sport. What I mean by that is our guys up here are better than your guys down there. Our guys out here are better than your guys over there, and vice versa. You saw the teams in your area for really about the first 100 years of this sport. The only really viewpoint you had on your team was how they compared against the other teams in your region. These conferences, for the vast majority of their existence, were incredibly regionally located. You played the teams in the Midwest if you were from Ohio State. You played the teams in the Deep South if you were from Alabama. You played the team out west if you were at University of Washington. In the Southwestern Conference in those days, well, you had Texas and you had Oklahoma and you had Arkansas, and those are the teams that you played. And every once in a while, you'd get a team coming in from another part of the country. The first real, other than Notre Dame USC, which has really been there for the longest time, that's probably the best example of the longest running battle between our guys out here are better than your guys over there. That's probably the best example of it, of a true cross-country rivalry, something that was played every year. And I still think that game's special. I think the folks that are involved in that got to make sure that they continue to play it by whatever means necessary. But in terms of other ones where it's happened, there was a USC team when Bear Bryant still had a segregated team at Alabama that went into Tuscaloosa and beat Bear, and that flipped the script on the way Bear Bryant ran the Alabama program. So that started to happen. What made Catholics and convicts so great? Sure, it was that part of it, somebody printing that on a T-shirt and calling the University of Miami Convicts. But what it really was is you cannot get more different in terms of a choice of a way of life than South Florida and South Bend, Indiana. Those two things could not be more different. And that was something that we all remember. There were coaches at various programs through the years who got this very early on and understood how special it was. Bobby Bowden built the Florida State program that became dominant in the 1990s, won a couple of national championships by going on this crazy barnstorming tour in the early 80s where he played at 5 monster powerhouse programs, and they went like 3-2 in that run. They came up here. Florida State came up here, and it wasn't a home and away. It was just, we'll go play up there. And if you were sitting in Columbus, Ohio in those days and you saw that FSU team come in, you would have probably said, well, this doesn't look like everybody else we play. We stayed in our own lanes in this sport for the longest time. Obviously, things have changed dramatically over the last 15 years and certainly over the last 5, more than we can ever imagine. We're very blessed around here in that Ohio State has always been at the forefront of this. Ohio State, from a scheduling standpoint, has always been one of the programs in the country, and if you think about it, especially over the last 30 years, where they seek out these type of games. They seek them out. We've played Texas twice. We've played USC. We certainly have played Oklahoma. In the non-conference, we've played Washington. We've played Oregon in the non-conference. Those type of things are special. The last 2 are now conference games. Last year when you went out to Oregon, it was a conference game. Saturday, when you go out to Washington, obviously, it will be a conference game. Despite it now being a conference game, I don't think it makes it any less special when the Buckeyes come to town, whether that is in Eugene or tomorrow in Seattle. That is a massive market. It's a massive city. Washington is a massive program with a lot of money and an incredible amount of pride that's won national titles, that played for one 2 years ago. They've had this one circled. They've had it circled. I know that there will be a contingent of scarlet and gray out there, but this will be a true road game in the sport. And despite the fact that now these become a little bit more regularly scheduled, and I've been on record about this for the longest time, I hope we get to a point where Washington is no longer a member of the Big Ten and the Pac-12 can thrive again and you can get back to some regionality in the sport. Maybe it happens in the next 10 years. It's all in play. Who knows what happens? But for now, it's a conference game, but it doesn't make it any less special, the fact that this team is going 3,000 miles west to play that team. It was awfully damn special when you did it out at Oregon a year ago, and it's going to be special tomorrow. And the folks out in Seattle will be ready for you. You've seen what's happened to this line. This thing opened at 13.5. It's all the way down to 7.5 right now. 6-point line flip over the course of a week. That tells you what people think about Washington, and it tells you a little bit about the challenge ahead for the Buckeyes. So while this is a conference game, we're going to see this a little bit more regularly, I don't think in any way it minimizes how special it is when a team from the Midwest goes that far to the Pacific Northwest to play a team like Washington and a program like that with the pride they have. I think this game, we've said it all week, and I stand by it. I feel very confident about it. I think it's the 3rd most dangerous game on their schedule remaining. You could argue it's 2 if you don't believe in James Franklin, and that's fine. He certainly has not earned your belief. But this one checks every single box tomorrow out in Seattle, fellas.
I'll tell you what, this is, regardless of the conference, this is great for college football, that Ohio State's playing Washington in Week 5. I think just with the history of both programs, the fan bases themselves, the fact that you got 3-0 versus 3-0. So, you know, a playoff implicator for Washington. If the Huskies if the Huskies have designs to make the postseason, you know, a good showing in this game against the Buckeyes would go a long way for Jedd Fisch in year 2. This is a college football weekend where you're drinking from a damn fire hose.
You really are.
Like, this is a sports weekend where you're drinking from a damn fire hose because, as you mentioned, you've got the whiteout, and can this be the weekend for James Franklin? Like, we'll do Learn and Earn at 10 o'clock, and I might have to nominate Penn State's head coach because certainly he, I think, with comments made this week, he gets it in terms of what the Big Ten and the water carriers of the conference, the Penn States, the Ohio States, the Michigans, are having to struggle with in terms of Fox. Now, he has an opportunity by beating Oregon to earn so much more.
Yeah.
Than just a beer. And so you've got that in the conference, and then you've got the SEC throwing some heavy hitters at you. Mm-hmm. Like, this feels, and there's even games Friday night that carry some attention.
2 fun ones.
Along with high school football.
Yeah.
Strap it in, kids.
Bo, I'm a man. I'm 40, like That's you, right. And I remember when Washington was a big-time program. Not that they're not now,
because obviously they played for a national championship 2 years ago. But I remember the end of Don James, and I remember them winning a national championship. And I remember those 3 games that Ohio State played against them, the 93 season, the 94 season, and the 95 season. And I remember that was a big deal. I remember Butler Banote having a big play against Washington and helping Ohio State win a game. Like, I remember that time, and I remember, like, it was special. Yeah. That, man, Ohio State's playing Washington. That's a big-time game. And sometimes we kind of forget, and Ohio State, since then, obviously, Ohio State has gone on the trajectory that they are, and they're a perennial top 10, top 5 program now. And Washington's had some ups and downs and some ebbs and flows, different coaches throughout the year and years and whatnot. This is still a classic college football matchup to me. This is, even though it's a conference game, this is still like, oh man, these 2 teams could play in the Rose Bowl type thing, right. Back in the day. And they've done that once, obviously, but this is a really, really fun game. I like that Washington is a good team again. I like that they're going to pose some challenges to Ohio State, and we've talked about this, we're not going to get the color versus color, but this is still a great uniform matchup. This is just a classic. Like, when you see these 2 teams and you see those uniforms, you think college football.
Yeah. It's interesting. You bring up the Rose Bowl, and it was probably the best example of kind of the one thing where you could see how you shook out against a team from another part of the country that you have very little in common with other than you play the same sport. It was something that you could count on every year. And that's what used to make the Bowls so great. That's why we used to love them, because even if it was the third play, even if the Buckeyes finished 4th in the Big Ten one year and you go play South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl, you got this chance to see a team that you don't normally see at Ohio State play. We're losing some of that. And you're going to lose more of it, because what is happening in the sport right now in the conferences, you're going to get 9 conference games. Everyone's going to play a Power 4, and then you're going to have 2 cupcakes, and that's going to be the way you're going to schedule going forward. And so you're still going to have these type of games. They're just going to become a little bit more regular. And a game like the one that we have Saturday is still very, very special. It's a massive barometer game for Washington. Where are they at? For the Buckeyes, first road trip for Julian Sand. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of questions about this team going into this one tomorrow. We'll get you completely set for it. Take a look both sides when Ohio State has the ball and when the Huskies has the ball. Take care of that matchups. The 2 coaches, what is that matchup like, and what do we expect from an environment standpoint out in Washington? As Reese mentioned, massive weekend in college football throughout the country, completely loaded up. Great games in every window, including some fun ones that are starting tonight. We'll get you set for all of it. We're off and running on a Football Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Children with Down syndrome in Central Ohio need your support. Join 10 TV, Newman Roofing, and the Down Syndrome Association of Central Ohio Sunday, October 5th for the 2025 Buddy Walk. Join thousands of participants as we come together to celebrate the uniqueness and resiliency of the Down syndrome community. Your participation and donations directly support programs and services for people with Down syndrome and their families. Together we can make a meaningful impact and pave the way for a more inclusive future. Sunday, October 5th for the 2025 Buddy Walk.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
Oven-baked French toast. Hot, melty cheese. And meat. And meat. And meat. Introducing UDF's new 3-meat French toast sandwich. Sweet and savory cinnamon swirl French toast piled with thick cut bacon, natural pork sausage, and smoky Canadian bacon. It's the newest flavor in our lineup of breakfast sandwiches. All stacked fresh, all served hot, and all made in store to make your morning. The new 3-meat French toast sandwich from UDF. Mornings made for you.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here. After retiring from professional football, I never expected that me, Bobby, I'd have low testosterone. So I went to my friends over at Affinity. I got my labs done, and now I've been on a testosterone replacement plan with Affinity for 8+ years. Best of all, they've supplemented it with peptides and lots of other great products. Learn why me and thousands of men trust the experts at Affinity to feel their best. Get more energy, better workouts, feel like yourself again. And do not waste another day. Get started at feelgreatcolumbus.com today.
Get the MVP, more value price from Coghlan Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Get 0% financing on a new 25 Kia Sorento or 3.49% on a new 25 Telluride. Visit CoghlanKia.com.
Coghlan has the car for you.
Based on January to December 2024 retail sales. 0% for 48 months and 3.49% for 60 months equals $20.83 and $18.19 for 1,000 finance through Kia Motor Finance. Not all will qualify. All qualified manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. Ends 9/30/25.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fan's YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Bird's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunshine for this afternoon. High temperatures reach to the upper 70s. And then for tonight, mostly clear skies as temperatures cool down into the upper 50s. And we are tracking a beautiful weekend with more sunshine, and low 80s are on the forecast here for Saturday and Sunday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Are you working? Because we barely are. It's Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football and quiet quitting. The Fan. Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
Oh, that crisp morning air, the leaves crunching under your boots, the crackle of a warm campfire. Fall camping is pure magic. You ready to get outdoors? You know that you are, and that's where my friends at RCD RV come into play. Their Fall into Adventure sale is on now through the 30th. You can cozy up to incredible deals on all remaining 2025 models, but you have to act now. You know you can picture yourself by that campfire surrounded by the autumn leaves, planning the perfect Halloween camping trip in your new RV. Visit one of their locations this weekend. Delaware, Heath, Pataskala. Shop online anytime at rcdrv.com. And don't miss these fall savings at RCD RV. When we played the bells off the top, I don't know how this came into my head. And I didn't want to derail the first topic because I wanted to get into the secular nature of college football and the way that it's all changed. But it was when NBC was in, I mean, it had to be first grade or second. My buddy BC and I and a couple other dads were coaching their little flag football team. And my buddy BC was the head coach, and he was giving the motivational talk. And it might have been possible that I was a little overzealous. And he's a Pittsburgh guy. And so as he's giving the talk, I, on my phone, started playing. I started playing Hell's Bells into Renegade. And he looks over at me like, what are you doing? And then he just God bless him, he just rolled with it. They were 6. So if you're going out and doing your youth football this weekend, it's the little things that you remember years later, as they're now in 8th grade and they're a bunch of jerks. But when they were little, they were fun, they were sweet, and they were easy to get fired up. Now, of course, they're too cool for all of those things. So if you got football games tomorrow on the youth side or on the high school side tonight, just remember how pure it is to be able to enjoy those things. We had Thursday night football last night. I'll be candid with you, I was at basketball tryouts. So when I got home, it was around 10 o'clock. And the Seahawks were in really complete control of it. And as I walked in, Marv caught the touchdown where he high-pointed it. And what I didn't understand at the time was the amount of time the announcers gave to how much Marv needed it. So I had no idea what had happened earlier in the game. But now, this morning, I woke up, I looked into it, and I went, oh, okay. So, bit of a struggle bus for Marv. It went the way that you and I both thought, Reese. We both had Seattle winning this one as slight dogs. So, it's a good start to pay attention to the scores and beat the house. So, we start off on a good note. But the Marv thing is a strange one because he is the best of the guys who came through here when they were here. He was the consensus one of all of them. If you were to say he's as sure a thing as can be. And for whatever reason, it just hasn't totally clicked for him out there.
Yeah, I guess the Georgia Peaches, this is exactly what they looked like last night. The Arizona Cardinals had a league of their own uniforms. Don't ever wear those again.
It's funny. It was kind of all over. The reaction to him was kind of all over. Because I think there's an account called like NFL Uniform Analyst, and he said wear them always. I'm more with you. My wife thought they were dirty. She was like, "Why are they muddy?" And I'm like, "No, they're on turf,
desert dirt."
I thought they looked dirty.
Like it's their Nike rivalry jersey, and you can throw those away. But to the point,
we had a guest on there when we do 2-a-days every year. This was a few years ago, and it was when they were trying to redesign their uniforms. And he actually had something that made a lot of sense. He goes, "I think you should get rid of the Cardinal altogether. Like take the Cardinal off the helmet. There are no Cardinals in Arizona. It's actually St. Louis, which is originally Chicago. Well, the Midwest has Cardinals. There are none in Arizona. Just pivot when they redid the uniform. Just pivot to something else because there's really no reason to keep it. I think when you put that bird on the side of the helmet, you're kind of limited to what you can do. Right? It's going to have to be a white helmet almost. I guess they have a black one that works okay, but it's a tough one. I think they tried a little too hard with it because it had some orange in it too, didn't it? A little bit of orange piping.
I think there was the red stripe down the pant leg. I think that was on one side had some orange.
It was interesting look.
Like it was like dark orange. It was weird. And that's I think the word that I'm going to use to describe Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr.'s relationship because it doesn't feel like up until the last point. Up until that touchdown, I should say, that they were on the same page. And I think you've brought this up before, is where Marv's, here's where the ball's going to go. I'm going to get to it. And Kyler's, well, I'm going to run around and see who's open, see what happens. And he did a lot of that last night.
And I'm not watching the All-22 on Kyler every week, but I've watched it several times when they've played the Browns through the years. And what I see from him is somebody who needs to see it open.
I mean, there was a point he threw it at a defender. Like, he was rolling out of the pocket, and one of the Seahawks defenders was closing in on him, and the defender bats the ball down because Murray just kind of throws it to him. And he didn't really have to jump too high in the air to get it down.
Yeah, I think that my hunch is that Marv is precise. I'm going to be here at this time at exactly this depth, put it here, and I'll catch it. And Kyler is not that. And so you have to build your offense around Kyler when you draft him number 1 overall. But it quite honestly isn't working. Go ahead, Vic.
I was going to say, I thought it was interesting when you said that about Kyler's kind of a non-structured quarterback and Marv is a structured receiver. Is that why Kyler was so good at the end of the game? Because it's just, hey, just make the play, right? Let's just run around. Let's take off if I need to, or if someone gets open, I'll throw it to him. And because he looked great those final 6 minutes of the game, he looked awesome. But most of that game, throws that were so inaccurate, we could have went out there and made them. It was just really bad until that final 6 minutes.
Yeah, he's such a unique player to coach, and he's such a unique player to, I would assume, play with, because he dominates everything you do. You have to build everything around him because of the way he plays, because to Bake's point, what he does best is what he did the last 6 minutes, where he's just trying to make plays. But that's not something that is not something that is easy to coach around, and I don't know if it's something that is sustainable or that you can have major success with. Conversely, on the other side of it, we got to give Sam Darnold some flowers here, guys.
Yeah, Seahawks are good.
This is a situation with this dude where he was thrown on the scrap heap by numerous teams. Numerous. And Baker's a little further along in his gestation on his career rehabilitation, obviously, with Tampa, but they're not dissimilar. Drafted high, tough situation, for even probably a worse situation for Sam in New York. Baker's situation in Cleveland, at least with the talent, was pretty good. I mean, he had Jarvis Landry. They got Odell Beckham Jr. They had some stud tight ends. They had Nick Chubb, best offensive line in football, all those things. Darnold had none of that with the Jets, none of it. And he kicked around to several teams in his career, and you watch him now. I mean, you think about 3 years with the Jets, then he goes to Carolina for 2, then San Francisco, then Minnesota, and now in Seattle, where he finally got the big money deal. He's completing 70% of his passes through 4 games, 900 yards, 9.1 an attempt. That's great. 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, a rating of 106.5. He made a throw on third down that Jackson Smith and Jigba caught when they were trying to ice the game. Now, they weren't able to do it, but it was a 3rd and 6. And if you have the stones to call that throw on 3rd and 6, then you have 2 things. You have confidence in the receiver that he's going to get there and he's going to catch it. But most especially, you have confidence in the quarterback that he's not going to put it in harm's way, that he's going to drop it into a bucket. And he did. He did. I thought he was cooked. I thought he was completely cooked. But he went to quarterback rehabilitation school in San Francisco, got a master's in it in Minnesota, and now he's there in Seattle, and he's still a young dude. He's in it, what is he, 27?
Yeah, because he was young coming into the league. He's
28.
I thought it was interesting last night listening to Herbie on the broadcast and them talking about everybody gives Kyle Shanahan the credit, and Sam Darnold was talking about it was Brock Purdy who actually talked to him and kind of made him see things a little differently and get him back on track. I thought that was really interesting that he gave Purdy, a dude that's younger than him in the league and age-wise, he gave him his flowers saying, well, Brock's really the one that helped me turn it around and see things differently.
Yeah. Whatever it did, it worked, and I think you can believe in him now. I mean, he was great last year in Minnesota. I'm not suggesting that he's going to get to a point where he's in that Goff area where he's that type of player where you lead the NFL and everything. But at the same time, I'm not suggesting he can't do similarly what Baker's done. And he did it last year, and he might be able to do it this year in Seattle as well. That's a frisky team. I like that squad a lot at the start of this season. I like this Buckeye team a lot, too, and I think this challenge comes at the perfect time. You're going to hear from the 2 head coaches. We're going to meet the Huskies coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Children with Down syndrome in Central Ohio need your support. Join 10TV, Newman Roofing, and the Down Syndrome Association of Central Ohio Sunday, October 5th for the 2025 Buddy Walk. Join thousands of participants as we come together to celebrate the uniqueness and resiliency of the Down syndrome community. Your participation and donations directly support programs and services for people with Down syndrome and their families. Together, we can make a meaningful impact and pave the way for a more inclusive future. Sunday, October 5th for the 2025 Buddy Walk.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus. It's fall or autumn, as the losers like to say. What does that mean in the car world? That means places like Jermaine Lexus want to clear out all of their 2025 inventory to make room for the 2026 models. And for you, the customer, that means big savings. Take advantage of their lack of space with aggressive pricing. They also have plenty of L-certified vehicles on the lot for the fall collection sales event. If you're in the market, please stop in and see my friends. Jermaine Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Listen up. That's the sound of big money.
ABC Tonight, Celebrity Wheel of Fortune is back.
Yes, that's it.
With big stars from the silver screen to the dance floor.
Tarek Hoff. Actor Katie Lowe's is here. Joey McIntyre.
Big thrills.
These stars are in it to win it.
And big fun.
Keep your shirt on. I'm out.
Ryan Seacrest and Vanna White host Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Tonight at 8 on ABC6. Good morning, Columbus. It's going to be a good day, and it's going to be big. With the biggest morning news team in Central Ohio, Good Day Columbus. The biggest news, weather, and traffic in town every day. Bringing you over 5 hours of breaking news, live reports, and continuing coverage, and stories that'll make you smile. First Warning Weather gets you ready for the day ahead, and Steer Clear Team Traffic will get you to work on time. Good Day Columbus, weekday mornings on ABC 6. It's going to be a good day.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a Football Friday. Your Ohio State Buckeyes already out in Seattle. We went over this yesterday, but just to reiterate, Ohio State taking an NFL approach to the game out in Seattle tomorrow. They traveled out on Thursday. They were in Seattle all day today and will play the 3:30 Eastern kick, 12:30 local kick tomorrow out there. Last year when they went to Eugene, they traveled on Friday. Some of that could have been the fact that the game out at Oregon was a night game, whereas this one's an afternoon game. So you're 4 hours or so ahead of schedule from where you were last year. The other part of it, I think, because and this is what Ohio State is right now as NFLU, they asked NFL teams, what do you guys do? And the reality is that NFL teams typically, when you go East Coast to West, will fly on Friday for those games and have the day at the location to get ready. So that's what the Buckeyes did. They've been out in Seattle since yesterday in anticipation for this first road game of the season. Here is Ryan Day on why they changed their travel routine.
Well, the thing for this team is, they really don't have a routine yet because we haven't quite, all traveled together. Now, for the guys who were here last year, it'll be different just because we get out there on a Thursday. But we're trying to, explain it like the playoff run, that we were on, where you get there a couple days early. You have your Thursday practice. We would typically do it on a Wednesday was, sort of the routine. But we're just going to do it on a Tuesday or a Thursday, get out there, have our snack, get to bed, wake up, have our best Fridays, and go play.
So there you go. There's the plan from the head ball coach there on what's going to happen today out in Seattle. The road environment out at Husky Stadium is elite. For the longest time, it was the loudest stadium in all of college football. It's the way that it's built. The sound bounces off of the water that is right behind the one end zone. They've got these incredible overhangs that keeps the sound in. It's a massively tough road environment to play in. The question we'll get to, and this goes into the breakdown a little bit later, is this Husky team up for this? We have a feeling that their fans will be. Here is Ryan Day on that.
Yeah, crowd noise and great environment. I've never been. Can't wait to go. Certainly they've won 22 straight home games, so what a great challenge for our team. We're excited about that, and that's the next step for our maturity as a team. We know that in order for us to reach our goals, we're going to have to go on the road and in this conference and win games. And this is a team with a great record at home, and they're a very good team. They have a lot of weapons and they're well coached. So our preparation has been good this week. The guys know what the challenge is going to be, and we know how tough we have to be to go on the road and win games. And it's not just physically tough, but it's emotionally tough, mentally tough, and understanding the environment can't dictate how we play.
Obviously, this is a massive game for Ohio State. I think it's a much bigger game for Jedd Fisch out at Washington, not in the standpoint of, this isn't James Franklin at Penn State. Like, pressure, go win a big one and prove that you can actually do it. It's not that at all. But what it is for Jedd Fisch in his second year at that program is a chance to see where his team stacks up. I don't think Washington needs to win this game. There's no sort of dialogue about that. But I do think Washington needs to be competitive for the fans out there, for the boosters out there, to see that Fisch can mimic what Kalen DeBoer did out there, and if he can turn them into a true national contender. Part of that is going to come with the game day atmosphere that they are going to provide. Here's the Washington head coach on that.
Obviously, we're excited about the game. Fans are excited, it seems. Crowd should be fantastic. Students should be out in full force. All the students are back in school, which is awesome, timing-wise for this game. Players are at a good spot. We don't expect many surprises. Injury-wise, I think we are where we are at this point. We'll kind of wait and see until Friday afternoon before we make any final decisions. Other than that, now we're ready to get after it.
Now, in terms of actually pulling off that upset, here's Coach Fisch on what will be required.
We've talked to our team, and we're taking on the approach that we are going to do everything we can to play our game. And our game consists of trying to create takeaways. We've created 5 thus far this season. We've talked the first 2 weeks that it wasn't enough. Last week we created 3. We've scored on special teams and we've scored on defense in the first 3 weeks. We feel that that's an important variable in a game like this. We've protected the football exceptionally well. We've had 1 turnover based upon a snap in the 3 games. So we have to do all of those things in a game like this. You have to protect the ball. You have to take the ball. You have to be able to score touchdowns in the red zone, not field goals. You have to hold them to field goals, not touchdowns. And then you have to win on special teams.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what you're going to get from Washington is a kitchen sink game. Whatever they have at their disposal, they are going to throw it at Ohio State and Ryan Day. They are going to absolutely throw it at him, and they're going to throw it at this Buckeye team in the biggest way possible. On the other side of it, from the Ohio State perspective, let's remember the approach in the Texas game a month ago. And what that game was, a complete belief in your defense to slow down that Texas offense with Arch Manning. They did. So what Ryan Day needed out of his offense that Saturday afternoon at the Shoe was to play smart, to play conservatively, to take the air out of the ball, to score 1 more point than Texas. I don't know if that will be the approach on Saturday. I think that you could possibly see a little bit more of an opened up Ohio State approach to this game. We'll get into that more specifically when we get into the Buckeye offense going up against the Washington defense. But in terms of the approach for this game, I think that's what I'm most curious about. Because the easiest way to quiet a crowd is to, if you win the toss and you defer, you get a 3 and out, and that thing is neutered right away. If you're on offense right away, really all you got to do is that first down. You get that first down, and you can suck the life out of the place. And those are the 2 objectives, I think, to start the game for Ohio State. They're not thinking of it from the perspective of we got to neutralize the crowd. That's not what I'm suggesting. What I am saying, though, is for momentum, for settling in, offensively, it's get a first down on the first series. Doesn't have to be a 12-play drive. Get a first down, get to that second series of downs on the first drive. Obviously, you want to score on your first drive if you can, but bare minimum, get a first down. And then defensively, give me a 3 and out, and I could suck the air out of the place.
You got to stay on schedule, and you got to keep them on. You got to take them off schedule. And I think staying on schedule for the Buckeyes will be so important because of your redshirt freshman quarterback's first start in a raucous environment and a loud atmosphere. Like, I don't expect it to affect Julian too much at first, but I think if you go and look back at that Ohio tape, the first drive of the game, where if he takes it up the middle when they're in the red zone, and I think there's a touchdown, I think that flow is completely different between the Buckeyes and the Bobcats. And I see something kind of similar Saturday between Ohio State and Washington. Like, if there's a stalled drive first, then if you take the ball and stalled drive it first, lets that crowd stay into it and gives their offense upon the turnover, a little bit of momentum. And I think that would for Julian, I think, is something you need to try to avoid, because he's got to get in a rhythm early. And so then the California cool kid is just able to make all of the simple things. Mm-hmm. Because that's going to be, for me, and I've said this all week, to where his reaction to everything around him, because they're the number 1 team in the country. It's almost like there's only a few voters out there that don't think Ohio State's the best team. This is a Washington team. Coach Day said it, that they haven't lost at Husky Stadium since 2021. And so all of that comes together kind of like the perfect storm for your young quarterback making his first start on the road.
I think, and I understand the game plan against Texas. Julian's first start, playing the number 1 team in the country, all of that thing. I think if you want Julian to feel like this is a normal game, I feel like you call this like a normal game from the start. If we talked about the front 4 for Washington, and they do a pretty good job of getting a pass rush without blitzing, but the back end of their defense is not the greatest, and their number 1 cornerback, Takaro Davis, might be out. They haven't said yet if he's playing yet. They're going to figure that out later this afternoon, it sounds like. If I'm Ohio State, I come out guns a-blazing and let Julian feel normal. Just let him come out and you run your normal offense. I don't think you put the governor on like you did for the Texas game. I think you let him go.
I hope so. I think we all hope to see that. My hunch is that will be their plan. I was curious, how this one is landing out in Seattle. I was talking to my uncle who's lived out there much of his life since college, and was asking him, I'm like, where does this hit? Where does this hit in the Seattle sports landscape this weekend? And this is something that we have to get used to with some of the teams in this league, and this is one of them. We saw this at Maryland a little bit, although Washington's a much bigger program historically than Maryland. But what he said was, he goes, man, right now it's Cal Raleigh, it's the Birds on Thursday night against Arizona, and so that's why it's a massive game for Fish, because Seattle is a massive city, and Jed Fish is fighting, clawing, scratching to get some attention, to get people to notice what is happening there, because Washington can take over that city a little bit. They're never going to supersede the Seahawks. They're never going to supersede the Mariners, but he can carve out his little piece of that pie if they can serve notice with a Buckeye game here out in Seattle on Saturday. Again, they don't need to win it. He doesn't need to win it. He just can't get housed. He can't get housed. And if he shows that they're competitive, it can springboard that program to another level in that city. And if you're trying to build something in that city, you've got to make sure that your piece of pie is big enough, because you're never going to cut into Seattle with what the Seahawks are. You're never going to do it with the Mariners. And both of those teams are really good right now. So they have to get the attention of their city first, and a competitive game against the number one team in the country while you're holding on to a 22-game home winning streak. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Be competitive, have a classic. You spring the upset, you're the toast of the city by Saturday night. That's their mentality heading into this one on Saturday out in Seattle. The Ryder Cup is underway. It all started well enough, didn't it? We'll get you an update on that and take you around the NFL for Sunday as well. Coming up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Everyone deserves a great car, regardless of credit. At Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall, we say yes to all credit types. Explore our selection, get financed in minutes, and own the road. Stop in today or visit us online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
For years, you've been hearing us talk about the Newman Roofing difference, delivering nothing short of an excellent customer experience each and every single time, from the first phone call to the end of your project. But don't take our word for it. Take a listen to our friend John and his Newman Roofing experience.
Well, the first thing that drew me to Newman Roofing is the extraordinary Google score of 5.0. That was the first indication to me that this was going to be a good experience. Overall, the experience with Newman Roofing was wonderful. When I came home, the job was completely finished. The crew had cleaned up and left. I wouldn't have known that they were there.
What star rating would you give Newman Roofing on Google?
I would, without hesitation, award Newman Roofing a 5-star rating on Google.
Any advice for those looking for a new roof, John?
Once you have contact with Newman Roofing, you'll understand why everybody's giving them a 5-point rating.
Do what John did and schedule your free roof or siding consultation with Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online today at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and football season is here at Columbus, and Jermaine Toyota of Columbus has the winning plays. Drive home a brand new 2025 Tacoma SR5, just $269 a month for 36 months, 10,000 miles a year. Or power up with the Tundra, now just 1.75 APR for 72 months. Don't wait. These deals, they won't last long. Stop by Jermaine Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or shop anytime at JermaineToyota.net. Jermaine Toyota of Columbus. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Timmy Hall. Looky here, guys. The Grove City Smokin' Hot Wing and Music Fest is back for year 3, Saturday, October 4th at American Nitro. I'm excited. We're talking cold beer, killer wings, live music all day, football on the big screen. It all supports Ghosts of War, helping veterans in need. So veterans and military, you're in free, baby. Get your tickets at AmericanNitro.com/Wingfest. Brought to you by The Fan, Columbus Chamber, Martin Painting, T-Mobile, and Greenscapes. Wingfest, flavor, fun, and football. What more do you need?
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. It's time to ditch the traffic jams and the rat race and take in that crisp morning air, the crackle of a warm campfire. With RCD RV's Fall Into Adventure Sale, you can. September 15th through the 30th, you can cozy up to incredible deals. Sale pricing on all remaining new 2025 models. And RCD has travel trailers starting under $12,995, as well as pre-owned motorhomes priced under $39,995. Visit one of our 3 locations locations, Delaware, Heath, Pataskala. Shop online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Your credit doesn't define your ride. Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall approves all credit types, good, bad, or rebuilding. Get behind the wheel today. Call 614-861-7150 or apply online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
How many different ways can you consume morning juice? Let's see. Live on YouTube, live on the Fans HD3 podcast on demand, and on 10 TV Plus. And we'll send Bobby right to your house.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
The Fan.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The best hair on the air. You were listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, it started well enough, didn't it? I was pretty jacked up. It was funny. Reese, you asked me earlier in the week, like, if the boys bought into the baseball. They have not. It didn't. No bug hit them. They weren't locked in on that. But this morning when I took them to school, they were watching the Ryder Cup on their phones on the way to school. And it was the rare instance where I actually let them be on their phones on the way to school. And they both were on it watching the Ryder Cup. So they were jacked up to that. And they were jacked up to the start. My God, who wouldn't not be? Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas coming out there with flags, the crowd going wild at Bethpage Black. And it started off well enough, but it sure as hell ain't well enough now. The Team Europe is putting it on us right now in all of these matches, several of them by multiple holes, and looks like they're cruising here in the very first setting of this. The one thing I will say is I've kind of watched it this morning, I feel like I'm getting more commercials than golf, and that's a problem. That is a big problem. So I don't understand. I know I get the finances of it. I understand your NBC, your Peacock, and it's on USA this morning, and you got to get your nut. Everybody's watching this. I get it. But holy smokes, has this been inundated? The idea that you can't watch every shot in a Ryder Cup where there's only currently, 8 guys, 16 guys out there playing? Like, come on, what are we doing?
So we're talking 4 foursomes. The Europeans leading 3. Now, they lead in 3 of them. Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele are now 1 up over Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland. And I guess trains heading out to Bethpage were clogged this morning, so like even patrons had a tough time getting out onto the course.
It's 7 a.m. on a Friday.
Yeah.
Like, it was dark. You can tell right before they came out. So, we had Dave Shedlowski on yesterday of Golf Digest, and he talked about the fact that the European team had 11 of the 12 players from the beatdown the last time in Italy, and so that was something that he took notice of. This has not gone well for us, and I don't know exactly why that this struggle is happening. They're just simply playing better. We can't make a putt is kind of the feeling of it. But I'll tell you this, if they don't get this thing turned around in the afternoon, this thing's going to be played in a closet with what's going on this weekend in sports.
I feel like, and I don't have any data to back this up, but I feel like this always kind of is the case, right? Doesn't it seem like the European team always gets out to a kind of a decent early lead, and then the U.S. team fights back a little bit and makes it closer? And I know the U.S. team has won the last 2 on U.S. soil, but I feel like that's kind of always the case for some reason.
I don't know. I can't speak to that or not. I know that this is the one. This one was highly anticipated because of the venue and because of how they were starting with DeChambeau and Thomas, the 2 Captain Americas, kind of leading them out there. And so with that, you thought you'd have a little bit of momentum for it, but the European team is just answering the call on all of it. I mean, I have it on here in the office. There are We are in like our 6th commercial without getting back to the coverage.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I mean, it's crazy how much golf they are missing. And it's mostly promotional stuff for their properties. It's what it is mostly, from what I can tell.
Real quick, can you check FX or AMC and see if A Few Good Men or Shawshank's on? I mean, it's 9:50 in the morning.
That.
What do you mean?
I'm sure they are. I bet Shawshank's on AMC.
Maybe Comedy Central has Wedding Crashers or something.
Like, so our, radio programs have automation systems. I feel like those stations are just automated with the same
just keep running
6 or 7 movies, and then the commercials are plugged in every day.
Yeah, it's you're probably right that it is. This is my one note for the Ryder Cup. This is my one note. Take this thing right now and play it in what is currently week 0 in college football.
Yes.
Solved. You're welcome. That fixes it. Don't do this. Don't go up against the best weekend in college football on the calendar so far. Don't go head to head with the NFL on Sunday. They're going 12-6 against the NFL on Sunday. They're going to get bombed.
The only chance is if it's competitive.
I still think they're going to get bombed. Even if it's competitive, it's not going to be anybody's primary other than just golf diehards. That's it. Yeah. Everybody else goes football. And college football is going to bury it. It's going to absolutely bury it. The only thing they have going for them is some of the best games in college football are at night. Nationally, probably the 2 that most people are looking forward to, with Alabama at Georgia and Oregon at Penn State. Those are night games. But the rest of this stuff is all going head-to-head with the NFL, and that's just not a way to go about your business. And with the PGA moving into May, just be malleable. Move it up. Don't be so arrogant to think that, we've always done it in September, and you can't use arrogance against football. Not in this country. You lose. That's just where we're at. So in terms of where we are, DeChambeau and Thomas are now down 2 to Rahm and Hatton. Oberg and Fitzpatrick are 4 up. McIlroy and Fleetwood are 4 up. Schauffele and Cantlay are 1 up right now through 9. But the 2 middle ones I mentioned are dang near ready to go dormy.
And
you're going to get there quick.
In that Oberg, Fitzpatrick, Scheffler, Henley match, Henley just airmailed the green, and Oberg stuck it to about 10 feet. So that doesn't look great in that one.
Yeah, English just missed a birdie putt that would have won the hole against Fleetwood and McIlroy. We haven't hit a putt. DeChambeau just missed a putt where they had a chance to win a hole. We're not making a putt.
And I was talking to, I believe maybe it was AR yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said that the European tour, the European team has like 10 of the top 12 putters in the world.
There you go.
Or something like that. And U.S., they've got Sam Burns, who is a really good putter. And I mean, obviously all these guys can putt well, but the European team has some of the best rated putters out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they need a rally. Need a big rally this afternoon, because otherwise Sunday afternoon is going to be in a closet. NFL this weekend, loaded schedule as always. Browns are at Lions on Sunday. That is a 1 o'clock. Pregame on the Fan starts at 11 o'clock. Browns pretty impressive with the win at home against Green Bay last time out. This test obviously just as significant in Detroit against the Lions. One of the things a lot of the fans up there and even the players are bemoaning a little bit about the struggles offensively in Cleveland come from the inability to make anything happen down the field. Kevin Stefanski was available yesterday and weighed in on that.
Well, obviously, offensively, you need to find ways to be explosive via run or pass. And when there are opportunities in the pass game, we're going to take our shots. So much of that is dependent on having the time that allows you to do that. So this game is no different than any other game in that you're going to try to game plan or scheme up some opportunities to take those shots, quote unquote, but it's really dependent on what the defense is doing.
Do you know the last time the Cleveland Browns scored more than 20 points in a game that was not quarterbacked by Jameis Winston?
Probably a Baker game?
It's Flacco.
Okay.
Flacco in 2023 in the regular season. That was the last time that they scored over 20. Can't win that way.
If they can't adequately protect Flacco, because they don't have, they'll have Thayer Munford's probably going to see time at tackle. Is there a point in the game? Are they thinking at all about benching Flacco for Gabriel and then having a moving pocket? Because if he's going to stand there like a statue and not see guys downfield and just make those 5-yard reads, throw in Gabriel the second quarter and then try to move the pocket.
I think the hard part with that is where the pressure is going to come is from the outside.
Yeah.
Because it's the two tackles. So Hutchinson's going to get upfield. My guess is they'll double team Hutchinson all game.
They'll have to.
They have to. And so because the tackle situation there is pretty bad. I'm curious because Conklin was at practice yesterday. So if he could come back, that would give them a massive boost on the outside, because with DeWand out now, it's a swinging door right now at tackle. I think Lewis gave up 9 pressures last week alone, just by himself. Like, that ain't it, especially when you have a 40-year-old quarterback. That ain't it at all.
You run the ball with Judkins.
Yeah, you try to do that. That's probably going to be the plan, and then you hope that the defense can play similarly to the way that it played last week. Second hour of the program up next. College football learned and earned. Is it possible that we become a fan of James Franklin? We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Children with Down syndrome in Central Ohio need your support. Join 10TV, Newman Roofing, and the Down Syndrome Association of Central Ohio Sunday, October 5th for the 2025 Buddy Walk. Join thousands of participants as we come together to celebrate the uniqueness and resiliency of the Down syndrome community. Your participation and donations directly support programs and services for people with Down syndrome and their families. Together, we can make a meaningful impact and pave the way for a more inclusive future. Sunday, October 5th for the 2025 Buddy Walk.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, red, green, or black seedless grapes are on sale for only $1.77 a pound with your digital coupon. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
If you're itching for a new vehicle this fall, you have to go see my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Hey, it's Anthony. I drive an awesome Ridgeline, and you can drive home the rugged 25 Ridgeline Sport with 0% APR or lease for as low as $299 a month. Or go for the looks and reliability of a 2025 Honda Accord LX, just 3.99% APR or lease it from only $199 a month. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, and GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Away game this week, but that just means you can make the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus your home for Saturday football. Join the Fan for the tailgate show and then party with us with the ultimate watch party. We have football contests with amazing prizes. There's wall-to-wall screens, ticket and memorabilia giveaways, and unbeatable game day food. Can't wait to see you at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook on Saturday. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Common Man here. I want to tell you about my guy, Bob Capace, owner-operator of Worthington Jewelers for the past 25 years. If your only experience is going to the mall for jewelry, Bob and his team will blow you away. Service, quality, and a great price. The store is busy all the time because people keep coming back. True story. My 8-year-old daughter says to me, "When can we go see Mr. Capace again? He's nice." Yes, he's nice. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax, and not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Hi, this is Ryan Krieger, and at Krieger Ford, we're offering an amazing $12,000 off MSRP on a new Ford Bronco Badlands. This offer is only from Krieger Ford, so come see us on Morris Road or visit KriegerFord.com today. Home of the Krieger Commitment. Best cars, best people, peace of mind.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Week 4 in the NFL kicked off last night in Arizona. Seattle's Jason Myers kicked a 52-yard field goal as time expired to lift the Seahawks to a 23-20 win over the Cardinals. Seattle's 3-1 on the season, while Arizona falls to 2-2. Week 4 continues Sunday morning with the Steelers playing the Vikings in Ireland. It'll be a 9:30 kick from Dublin. In college football, number 1 Ohio State's at 3-0 Washington tomorrow for a 3:30 kick. Buckeyes are 7.5-point favorites. We'll have live fan pregame coverage tomorrow morning starting at 10. In baseball, the Guardians have 3 games left and are tied with the Tigers for the top spot in the AL Central. Cleveland hosts Texas tonight at 7:10, while Detroit's at Boston. In golf, the 45th Ryder Cup's underway at Bethpage Black. The Europeans are leading in 3 of the morning foursomes. Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele are all square, with Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland through 8. This update's sponsored by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. Together to serve you better. Schedule today at thewaterworks.com.
After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Football Friday. Tim May coming up in 28 minutes from now. Before we get to that, though, time for a little learned, and earned.
Bishop and Friends present Learned and Earned. What we learned this week and who's earned a drink.
Sponsored by Go Brewing. Visit GoBrewing.com/thefan and claim your buy one, get one free 6-pack of Go Brewing.
All right, so the way this will work, a favorite nominee here gets a 6-pack of non-alcoholic beer from our friends at Go Brewing. So you have that to look forward to, which is very nice. Reese, I know you want to kick this off with your buddy.
Well, it's a tough one for me, but I do think I'm going to have to give some love to James Franklin. The Nittany Lions have Oregon tomorrow in a whiteout, and the whiteout has really become one of the better traditions in all of college football. And listening to James Franklin earlier this week, he seems to take some umbrage with the way Fox, the Big Ten's lovely broadcast partner, feels about that whiteout.
I know Fox tried to argue that a 12 o'clock whiteout was the same as a 7 o'clock whiteout. I think people would disagree with that.
James Franklin, you earned a beer this week, and you have an opportunity to earn so much more with a win tomorrow night against Oregon.
Yes. I mean, so now I'm on the same side with James Franklin on something? Like, that's where we've come?
Yep.
It's us and James Franklin. V Big Ten, V Fox. That, of course it's better at night. The idea that Fox would sit there. Look, the money cashes, and that's what the money's for. I get it. That's why you have to play all these games. We've been over it 1,000 times. But that is a little window into the way that they are trying to convince teams that the atmosphere can be as good at noon as it is at 8. And that's just not true. It's not. So good for him on calling him out on it. That pleases me a great deal. this is a massive game for him. It's a massive game for him. We're going to find out Saturday night if he actually earned the Go Brewing six-pack, if he earned it, because the whiteout is special. I know we have some sound from him on that. And they need a win in an atmosphere like this in Happy Valley to kind of validate this season for them. Here is James on the whiteout.
It's just turned into a special event, and not just in football, really in sports. If you're a sports fan, this is like a bucket list thing that you need to attend. And obviously it has a huge impact on all the restaurants and hotels and bars and community. It's a pretty hot ticket.
I think that he's got the most pressure on him of anyone coaching college football this weekend. And I don't think it's particularly close. I know people in the South would maybe say that Kalen DeBoer has that type of pressure. But that's a game that's in Athens. It's in Athens. That's different. This one for Oregon, or rather for Penn State, they pushed all their chips in this season. They brought everybody back. Drew Aller in big games, the statistics tell the truth, right? He's not been great in big games. He needs it in terms of the way he's viewed, in terms of the way they view him. They went out and spent in the portal. They amplified their receiving core for this reason, so that they had weapons. They mirror Ohio State last year in that they have 2 NFL running backs in their backfield. Oregon comes in here footloose and fancy free into Happy Valley. Now, the realities of what Happy Valley's all about are going to hit them over the side of the head when they realize their hotel situation. That's going to suck. They're going to realize it when they got students banging on their doors at 4:00 in the morning. That's going to suck. They do benefit, though. I do think Oregon benefits a little bit. The atmosphere is going to be electric, but they benefit with it being at a night game, and that their body clocks aren't going to have to adjust too much. Folks, if this was a noon game, that's 9 a.m. local body clock for Oregon. That's a bit of a problem. So I think in that sense, Oregon has a little bit back. I think Oregon's all house money in this one, guys. To me, this is all the pressure in the sport is in Happy Valley, and it's on the boys in blue and white tomorrow night.
Yeah, you obviously be paying attention to Oregon, but it's just the gigantic magnifying glasses is 10x on Aller and James Franklin. Bo, in the YouTube chat, you're getting a lot of Kurt Cignetti. Understandably so.
Yeah, I had to eat crow over him.
The cigarette is lit. It's burning good.
He's definitely earned his 6-pack of Go Brewing. They've got Iowa 3:30. That'll be a lot of Fernando Mendoza is now your Heisman frontrunner.
Jeez.
And I think the magnifying glass goes to him a little bit too, right? Follow that up.
Yeah, they're at Iowa.
Yeah.
This week and big favorites in that game. I'm fine with giving one of those guys the 6-pack. I think Cignetti deserves it. I mean, it's probably the best moment the cigarette has had since Mad Men went off the air. Probably that good. Yeah, he's probably earned it the most. That was pretty dominant last week. So, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I was curious about, I'd always thought in my head that the Beaver Stadium whiteout started with Ohio State, that it was an Ohio State game where it really took off. But actually, I just pulled this up. It started actually in 2002. It was leading up to the much anticipated game with Nebraska. There was fear that a sea of red, imagine that statement, much anticipated game against Nebraska in 2002. That's what Nebraska, how they used to be viewed 20-some years ago. There's a fear that a sea of red would overtake the stands in Beaver Stadium, so an email began to circulate amongst Penn State fans to wear blue to the game and to not sell their tickets to Cornhusker fans, dubbed Operation Visine, to get the red out. So this kind of got the momentum flowing in that, and then Penn State upset number 7 Nebraska in that game, 40-7. They put it on them. So in 2004, to try and draw extra excitement for the team than what was a down year, the Penn State Athletic Department asked students to wear white to a game against Purdue. They did in that game, and they continued to do so until the final game of the regular season against Michigan State. So they were trying to do these things back there, but it was actually, so this part I do have right, the whiteout was cemented in 2005 with an upset win over rival Ohio State. By the way, rival Ohio State, you will notice. The crowd was the second largest in stadium history, which helped Penn State get that win. They did in 2007. And so they've done it from here on out. Ohio State's ruined a lot of these whiteout games. I've been to one, and I do think that it is the best atmosphere that I've ever seen for a college football game. It's nuts. And when it's at night, it's even crazier. That place is an erector set. It's built straight up. The teams have to walk through like chain link to walk out onto the field. The opposing teams do, and the fans are yelling at them and throwing urine and everything else that goes into it. It's kind of everything you'd want in college football. And if you've not been to Happy Valley, if you've been to Happy Valley and you haven't been to some of the SEC places, well, it's the same. It's the middle of nowhere. It's this massive valley, and you see RVs forever in the distance, and it's awesome. And there's something about the way, because everything else is so dark, because it's not an urban area, so there's not this massive city with all this lighting. It's really dark, and so the way that the white in the stands kind of it really shimmers at night. It's special. It's very, very special. And Penn State and Franklin are counting on it on Saturday. We're going to pick it in an hour. I still don't know where I'm going with it, guys. I don't.
So right now, it looks like the Nittany Lions are 3.5-point favorites. And he's right when James Franklin is right when he says that this is a bucket list sporting event, because I have it on mine.
I think that's fair. You should. It doesn't. I think up here it gets the respect that it deserves, but I would put it up. It can go toe-to-toe with a night game in Baton Rouge. I've been to one of those. It can go head-to-head in Tuscaloosa or Florida. Florida at the Swamp, when they got it going, is really incredible. They haven't had it going in a decade or so, but when they do, that place is pretty great. There's some great ones. This one here is really good when you get the right matchup. Like the Texas game was electric, as loud as can be. So when you get the right matchup, you have that a little bit here. But yeah, Bake, have you ever been over there?
I have not been to Happy Valley.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool spot. And when you go over there, you can't help. And maybe that's why I am so critical of Franklin, and at times get a little critical of the fans for putting up with him. I know why they do, because they're worried that if they get rid of him, they'll go back to, football purgatory. They don't want to do that. And they've been nationally in the mix with him the whole time. He just needs one of these type of wins. But when you go over there, it's pretty infectious. I mean, it feels like everything you'd want Big State U to feel like on a Saturday night. So that's a massive one. A couple other big ones around the country. We'll get to the previews on that. Did you find somebody that you wanted to give the six-pack to there, Reese?
Yeah, I saw Radu first in the YouTube chat with the Kurt Signetti. It seems like a lot of, people saw that and said, yeah, because that might, chomp at you a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm appreciative of the Kurt Signetti.
When they come at me?
It's like, it is, and to your credit, you've been very humble in this understanding that I think Signetti's the real deal.
He is. He is the real deal. I think it's remarkable what he's done over there. And I think the other thing that's really cool from the Indiana perspective is it seems like he's mobilized the alumni, and they're spending, and they're bringing in a guy like Mendoza after they had Rourke last year. So, yeah, I think all of those things add up. All right, there you go. That was learned and earned, courtesy of our great friends at Go Brewing. And so there you go on that. We'll take a look at the big games around the country. In addition to that, what happens when Ohio State has the ball? Ryan Day on what could be and what needs to be the next natural progression for Julian Sayin. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront costs before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company, you can trust.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and it's tire time at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Now through October 31st, you can buy 3 tires and get 1 for $1. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to schedule your appointment today, or hurry into Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161 in Dublin to get those cars ready for winter. And when you think tires, think Tansky.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. It's time to ditch the traffic jams and the rat race and take in that crisp morning air, the crackle of a warm campfire. With RCD RV's Fall Into Adventure sale, you can. September 15th through the 30th, you can cozy up to incredible deals. Sale pricing on all remaining new 2025 models. And RCD has travel trailers starting under $12,995, as well as pre-owned motorhomes priced under $39,995. Visit one of our 3 locations, Delaware, Heath, Pataskala. Shop online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Ryan Day's Buckeyes hit the road for a Big Ten battle with Washington.
Live fan coverage starts Saturday at 10 with the kick at 3:30.
Every game, every season, your flagship home for the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fraud in government is a crime, and it robs taxpayer dollars. I'm Ohio Auditor of State Keith Faber, and my job is to catch people that lie, cheat, and steal, report suspicious behavior, and help stop fraud. Learn the red flags, speak up, and protect your tax dollars by calling 1-866-FRAUD-OH.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state. The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We have sunshine in the forecast for this afternoon, and temperatures warming up into the upper 70s here for today. By tonight, mostly clear skies as temperatures cool down into the upper 50s. Before the weekend, we got more sunshine in the forecast here on both Saturday and Sunday, and temperatures are warming up into the low 80s here for both Saturday and Sunday. And that's your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
It's Friday and there's football. I shall call it Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for all things football. The Fan. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and we are proudly sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Let's take a look at this matchup, Ohio State's offense against this Husky defense. It's funny, I think this is kind of the second act. The main showcase is what you're going to get when the other matchup is in play, when it's the Buckeye defense going up against this Washington offense and trying to slow it all down. to me, this just comes down to Julian, because I think there are going to be plays to be made. I'm curious where Ohio State goes at running back. Like what the now that you're coming off of the bye week, what does it look like for Bo Jackson in terms of carries? Where is the percentage of carries going to him? Because he has been the most dynamic, but do they trust him in pass pro the way that they maybe would with the others? So that is something to watch for. But this will mostly be about Sayin, who has been superb. Julian Sayin with a quarterback rating on the season of 199.8, a completion percentage of nearly 79%, 779 yards in those 3 games, the 8 touchdowns, the 3 picks. And I think it's the 3 picks, especially the 2 against Ohio, that gave everybody pause. I went over this after I took the boys to the Ohio game, and I talked about it on that Monday of when you were in the building, you didn't see what I think people saw on television in terms of some of the things that were maybe missed in the red zone. Because in the building, you're not getting those replays. You're not able to see some of the things that were missed. But I think he missed a couple of throws in the red zone in the Ohio game. And the 2 picks, one of them's on him, the other one isn't. And so what you need to have going into this game tomorrow is a full understanding of sometimes, and Ryan talked about this post-game against Ohio, sometimes it's better to just take the sack and live to see another play. And he'll have to do that tomorrow against Washington. But Ohio State ought to be able to move the ball against the Huskies. So for Sayin, first road game, massive test. Here is Ryan Day on that.
Every day, coming in with a growth mindset, wanting to get better. He and Lincoln both, and Tavian, they know they got to get better every week. This is going to be the next step in his maturity to go get a win on the road in the conference. Think about, for him, his first, playing Texas was his first start. Now going on the road against a team that's won 22 straight across the country, like these are big challenges for him. So you go get this win, no matter how it looks. It's a great confidence booster moving forward. I think for him, getting that first win was a big confidence booster. I think doing this will be as well. But it's going to be a very difficult environment. It'll be loud. He's going to have to lead. He's going to have to command in the huddle, and he's going to have to take care of the football.
Last week in the Apple Cup, Washington beat Washington State 59-24. But in that game, Zevi Eckhouse, the quarterback for Washington State, was 25 of 36 for 277 and 2 scores. Now, he did throw 2 picks in the game. Washington outscored him 28-0 in the fourth quarter to make that thing look a lot more lopsided than it was. But it was 31-24 going into the fourth before UW kind of separated from the Cougs out on the Palouse. So that there are going to be plays for this passing game to be made, and the question is, do you trust Julian Sayin to make them? I do. I think he's going to be fine. I do not at all have any sort of lack of belief in what he's capable of in a Saturday out in Seattle. I think let the kid rip it. And Bake, you made this point earlier, and I think it's a very prescient one. Let him live it. Call the game like you normally would. Take all of the hobbles off and just let him go eat.
Yeah, you don't want him to act like anything's different. Don't do anything different. Don't call plays different. And I know each game has its own game plan and whatnot, and you don't run the same plays versus every team, and you kind of base your scheme on the defense you're playing, but don't pull back on the reins. Mm-hmm. That's totally understandable. Week 1, Texas, all of that, and I know this is his first road environment. This isn't Texas's secondary, though. Let him eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the when Coach Day talks about like the natural progression of the season for your quarterback, like this is, you ask him more of the playbook, you ask him to do more, you give him more responsibilities, because this is the test that you're going to need to at least solve a couple more times this season, not only against the Huskies Saturday, but against the Wolverines, the game on November 29th, and then the college football playoff. You're going to be in a raucous environment. You're going to be asked, all right, here's the full complement of the offense. Like, don't hold, and the idea of holding back hopefully didn't creep into their mind, but I guess if it did for us and we're discussing it, maybe because it's only human, you go, all right, do we play this a little safe? No. Safe is death in situations like this, because that crowd will pounce on you. And for the crowd out there that says Washington ain't played nobody, no, but they've acted accordingly in the 3 games they've played opponents.
Yeah, all you can do is beat the brakes off your teams you play on the schedule, and they have. They beat Colorado State 38-21, beat UC Davis 70-10, and then Washington State last week 59-24. As I mentioned, though, that was close going into the fourth before UW really separated in the fourth quarter. Here's the thing about Washington, too. I just pulled this up. Their defense red zone scoring percentage is 100%. You get in the red zone, you score on them. And so I think Ohio State is going to be able to move it. I think they're going to be able to sling it on them. You mentioned that corner that potentially could be out. I would pay attention to that as the day goes along, if that's the case. I mean, when you're staring down, if you're Washington and you're staring down number 4, number 17 on the outside, good luck. Good luck with all that. And so I think there's going to be plays to made down the field, and I think the sooner you start really embracing that, because I think when I heard the couple of code words I was looking for this week from Ryan, when I heard him talk about just win the game, that's kind of the Texas approach. And I understand he's got to say those things, go win the game, but I think this team's come a long way in that month, and I think they were maybe further along than even he thought going into that game. So I'm very curious to see what their approach is to this one. In the say-in question, I think is going to be answered in a very, very big way on Saturday. If he's taken the steps that we believe that he is. Did you guys find it interesting that he lumped Lincoln in there with Julian when he answered the question about the quarterbacks getting better every week?
He said Tavian as well. I don't.
But he was kind of like a throw-in. It was Julian and Lincoln, and then Tavian too. I thought that was interesting that Lincoln's name got dropped in there.
I think
I hope we don't see any Lincoln Saturday, to be brutally honest.
Nothing personal, but
it's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's just. I think this is where you need QB1 to get the full complement for all 4 quarters.
Yeah.
I did kind of wonder, and then I threw this out of my head. I did kind of wonder if maybe, because Lincoln was committed to Washington before he committed here, if maybe there would be something there where they would throw him a bone in this game, kind of like they did in the game against the Bobcats. I do think, though, there are things that they really like about Lincoln. And there are things that they think they can utilize with him. And I think it's intriguing to them to get him in a game and use some of those things. I just don't know if that's best for your offense and for Julian's psyche moving forward.
I think you might be right on that, and I think that they need to stop listening to the little guy in their head unless Julian gives them a reason to start listening again. Because I don't think you want him in any way looking over a shoulder. I don't like the idea of taking quarterbacks out in the red zone. Like, don't take QB1 out of the red zone. Like, go get your buckets. Like, let's go. So that'll be something to monitor in a very big way. It's where all the attention will be tomorrow in the game. Some incredible national games as well. Bama at Georgia in the late window. Georgia's won 34 straight games at home. Kalen DeBoer already with a loss on the season at Florida State. Doesn't need it. They're not going to run him out of town, and I think they have turned a little bit of a corner the last couple of weeks, but it'd sure be nice if they beat Georgia in Athens. That'd be a nice one for him. Ole Miss is hosting LSU. Ole Miss is favored in this game slightly, 1.5, and they're going with the backup quarterback again.
I feel like that's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, that's in the 3:30 window, so that's opposite us. Lane bemoaned that earlier in the week that he was hoping it'd be a night game, but in fact it's a 3:30, so that'll be a second screener for me. And then I'm very curious about Notre Dame at Arkansas. I know that this is a very popular upset pick.
Go out.
I love that guy. But I do think that Marcus and the Irish will be ready. I think they'll be ready for that one. I think they'll score it, and we'll see what happens defensively with Chris Ash. Obviously, it hasn't been good early, but I don't know that Arkansas is any good. They just lost to Memphis last week. If Notre Dame struggles with Arkansas, that's an alarm bells go off type situation.
Yeah, if this is like 41-40, like it's going to be not great for Notre Dame because, I don't see any issue with the Irish scoring points, but boy, if they let Arkansas hang around in that game, then you could see it a fourth quarter. You're really, really worried about the operation the Irish have.
Yeah, especially on the defensive side. Yeah, get a couple of stops, go down there, get a win, and get back to South Bend with an even slate. Tim May in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today. Did you know you can donate real estate too?
The waterworks techs have heard it all. Screeching furnaces, dripping pipes, strangled garbage disposals, overflowing toilets. Did a spooky surprise catch you off guard? Who are you going to call?
No, not them.
Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222. We provide better care, better value, better results, and we'll take on any drain or heating and cooling nightmare to come your way. Happy Hallow Waterworks.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
When you're ready to sell your car, another reason to choose Hinder Motor Company is the easy, fast, fair, and hassle-free way to sell. This is Justin Hinderer. We pay top dollar for your vehicle, whatever the make or model, and no purchase is necessary. Consider trading and get even more toward your next vehicle. Drive in today and leave with cash or get a great deal. See why it's a pleasure doing business. Just visit HinderMotorCompany.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, so Friday at 10:30, we head out on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The great Tim May joining us there, host of the Tim May Show on FanStreamSports.com and, of course, right here at the Fan. Obviously, you've been to Seattle for a game at Washington. What can you tell the folks who haven't about what that setting is all about?
It's Pat Chun, the athletic director at Washington, used to be a provocateur for Ohio State and then Florida Atlantic and then Washington State. Now provocateur for Washington, says it is the loudest place. It's been documented. So, number one, they got that going for them. It's the double overhang of the stadium just enhances it a lot. It reminds you of a bigger – it's a lot bigger version, sort of Autzen Stadium in terms of the overhang. I'm not sure what the overhang's to do because if it seems like the wind's blowing slightly, you're going to get wet under it. And if the sun's in a certain position, you're going to get sun in your eyes. But the bottom line is it's loud as hell. When I first came out here in '86 to cover a Ohio State game, when I got beat 40-7. There was only one overhang, the stadium hadn't been enlarged at that point. It's only on the south side, but now you've got it on both sides. And then on top of that, Bo, that's kind of a leading question because like I have Pat on my podcast today, the Tim May Show, where he refers just nonchalantly and, the sailgating. And I go, wait a minute, excuse me, what? Because that is cool, man, that people can sail in or motorboat in and drop anchor there in the little cove or the little bay and enjoy and then be water taxied in to a little dock where they then walk up to the stadium. As I've joked with him, I think they're going to try that at get some little paddle boats for Olentangy River, and see what they can do at Ohio State games, which would be pretty fun, except when the river's running low. But yeah, it's just the coolest setting. It's extremely, extremely urban, as in lowercase urban, not Urban Meyer. Although Urban Meyer's last win as a college football coach came against Washington in the Rose Bowl, but it's cool, man, and it's the best way of putting it. It's going to be football weather tomorrow. It looks like maybe mid high 60s, a little bit overcast, a little bit broken clouds, and we'll see what happens. But main thing is it's loud. When the home team's playing well, it's very loud.
Yeah, I've tried to explain to folks around here, especially the younger folks, like Washington's a massive program, and they got a ton of money in a massive city. If you've not been to Seattle, it's just huge. You just can't understand how big it is if you've not been out there. It's a really big city. And I was talking to my uncle who lives out there, and I was asking him, I'm like, well, where does this kind of rate on your sports weekend in Seattle? And he said, well, Mariners, at the top, and then Seahawks, and then it's somewhere under there. And that's what Pat is fighting. That's what Jed Fish is fighting, right? And so I think that's why this game is so critical for them. Tim, I don't think that they have delusions of now they certainly think they can win, but I don't think they have to win. But I do think for him to kind of get that stamp of approval that Kalen DeBoer has, they've got to play well tomorrow. I do think that matters.
Yeah. You mean the stamp of approval Kalen DeBoer had?
Has there probably still, not currently, but has there probably still.
I was being a smart aleck, and but here's I keep reminding people too, though. I mean, they lost so many people, including coaching staff from that team from 2 years ago, but they did play for the national championship just 2 years ago, and that's kind of crazy when you think about it. I mean, when you think about 3 of the 4 teams that have played for the national championship over the last 2 years were from the Big Ten, and then one should be in it, Notre Dame. But no, you're right. I mean, everybody needs that booster shot because Jed Fish, they almost started over last year because everybody that left and then the key players have moved on to the National Football League, including Michael Penix Jr. But they would be huge for Jed Fish in this program. Jed Fish with a assistant coach named Scotty Graham, former Buckeye running back, and then Michael Brewster, former Ohio State center and captain, is a GA or quality control, whatever you call some of these guys that still help coach now. He moved over here from, I think, Western Michigan. He had been with Eddie George at Tennessee State for a couple of years, but it would be a huge moment for the team. And when you get a crowd like they're going to have tomorrow, you want to leave them going, wow, they've got it going on. And I think they're benefiting from the fact the Seahawks played last night and figured out a way to win. And then, of course, the Mariners are they in the AL playoff or what? I can't remember.
That hasn't started yet, but Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs during the week, so they got Mariners fever for sure, and it's a great baseball team.
Yeah, Mariners fever. Yeah, their stadium was lit up as I got here at midnight local time and finally got my rental car at 1:30. Believe me, you don't want to go down that lane. I've only been asleep for a couple of hours now. I'm sleepwalking now as I talk to you. But I mean, wow. When your reservation list says there's 300 or 400 people coming in for cars, you got 3 people working. I think you didn't read your reservation list right.
That ain't it.
Seinfeld episode. It was a Seinfeld episode. Go ahead.
It was. You can take the reservation, but keeping the reservation.
Holding the reservation.
Yeah, that's the key to the whole thing there is the actually holding the car.
It was so bad they were almost giving away electric cars. I said, I don't want an EV, man. Give me something with an engine in it.
You'd thrive in an EV out there, buddy. They got charging stations every half block. You'd thrive.
Well,
Hey, when you're there, you land into a city like that, and you know what that stadium's all about and the program, and you know the money behind it and the alumni. When I was a kid, Washington was the glamour program in the West. They were. Yeah. It wasn't SC. SC was down when I was a kid. So it was Washington. It was Don James and Empman and a Heward every other year and Napoleon Kaufman and all of that. And they were the program of consequence. They won a national championship, a massive, massive program. It's crazy to me, and I've tried to explain this to the audience here. It's crazy that the Big Ten took them begrudgingly, and they took Oregon begrudgingly, and they're at half rate in terms of what their money they're getting from. It's crazy because they are massive programs, Tim.
Yeah, they are, but it's a long way out here, number one. I will say that. And number two, I told Pat I shouldn't give away all of the Tim May podcasts, but who cares, right? As I referred to him, I said, I finally figured out how to describe the Big Ten now. The 14 before they added USC and UCLA, and then Oregon or Washington. Oregon and Washington are like Alaska to the 48 contiguous states, and USC and UCLA are like Hawaii to the 48 contiguous states, and then you got the 14 core, with Nebraska on the quote West Coast. But it does feel that way. But yeah, if you were going to cherry pick, you've been around long enough to know that if you were going to cherry pick, it would have been in not necessarily this order, but it would have been USC, Washington, and Oregon. And let's get one more, and they got UCLA. That's what it would have been.
Yeah.
And because of people who've done it. Now, with that said, Don James, by the way, originally from Massillon, Ohio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I remember. Well, he was Nick Saban's first boss. As a head coach at Kent State, he was Nick Saban's coach. And but I digress. Bottom line is, I remember talking to him before Ohio State played out here in '86, and I said, you're out there from Ohio. Why'd you stay out of Ohio? He goes, by then we were kind of talking first name. He goes, well, Tim. He goes, I just turned around in my chair here in my office. You know what I'm looking out on? I go, what? He goes, Mount Rainier. And he said it was a beautiful day. Everybody thinks it rains here every day. It doesn't rain and stuff. So, he's the one who truly put them on the map, in my opinion. I mean, they had success before that. I mean, they built their original stadium in the spot they're in right now, well before in 1920, before Ohio Stadium was even built. So people have had grandiose plans for this program for a long time. It's just getting a next door neighbor's hard here, because I'm talking about from a major college standpoint. But I think it fits in all kinds of ways, except it's not just right down the street.
Yeah, I'll get you out of here on this one. I got to do one football one for you. You think Ryan Day will unleash Julian, or do you think this will be a Texas approach?
Well, from watching the Washington State game, which I think has given Washington its best competition so far, you got to throw the ball just from what I saw, because the opportunities will be there, and what you got to do is you got to unleash Jeremiah Smith, Cornell Tate, and Brandon Ennis needs to really get on the pass catching end of things. I know he blocks well and all that stuff and is a leader, but if they get him involved, I don't know. I'm not sure Washington can hang with them for 60. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, let them live a little bit on that side of things. Enjoy it out there, buddy, and get some rest. Thanks for your time.
I will. By the way, the biggest game of the week is what?
Well, it's Penn State, Oregon, right?
I think it is, but Georgia, Alabama, that's huge, man. But you're right. Penn State, Oregon sets the tone for what's to come.
Yeah, I think Franklin needs it. I think he needs it more than DeBoer does.
Agreed.
I don't think DeBoer can get run at Georgia, but as long as it's competitive, I think he's fine. But I think Franklin really needs a big win at home. He hasn't had one in a while. So
finally, as the old saying goes. Yes, right, absolutely. Exactly. I agree. 100%.
Right. Enjoy it out there. Suck down some crab. They do it great. Enjoy yourself, and we'll talk soon.
You got it, brother. See you, man.
There he goes, Tim May, the Tim May Show on the Fan, streamsports.com, and right here on the Fan as well, out in Seattle. Tim retired several years ago. And yet he's still...
No. He's never going to retire.
He's like, I'm telling you, this is it. No. And now he's in Seattle covering a game.
This real quick from Dennis in the YouTube chat. The sailgate is tomorrow, and it's sold out. They get to dock at the stadium.
So great. That's awesome.
I don't know if there's a better pregame experience in college football.
Yeah, it's a cooler version of the Tennessee Army in Knoxville is what it is, how they come in on those boats on the river. But this is different. I mean, this is spectacular. It's awesome. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves with Active Liver from New Nordic. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain for Toyota West. And with over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of 0 down and 0 payments until 2026. And every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. Offer expires 9/30. No payments for deferred payment. Interest accrues at time of inception with approved credit.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have 0-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Scotty Vegas here. Smartest bet of the season? Bet on yourself. I needed a weight loss plan that fit into real life. Tailgates, road trips, kids' nights, and still lets you eat. Week 1 with Awaken 180, I was down 6. By the end, 45 pounds gone. That's with wings, chili, meatballs, sausages, all the good stuff. It's the Tailgate transformation. Structure, coaching, and food that tastes like a win. Make the smart play. Start your Tailgate transformation at awaken180weightloss.com.
It's Sunday Night Football on the Fan. Catch the Packers and Cowboys live from Jerry World. Fan coverage starts Sunday at 7:30.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fall is here. The leaves are changing, football's on TV, and family time by the bonfire feels just right. Before it gets even colder, now's the time to make sure your home is ready for what lies ahead. For over 3 decades, homeowners across Central Ohio have turned to Newman Roofing for reliable roofing, siding, and gutter work that stands the test of time. From your very first call, you'll talk with a real person who's happy to walk you through the process. Your estimator won't push you, just explain what's going on with your home and share solutions that make sense for you. And when the work begins, a dedicated job supervisor makes sure every detail meets Newman Roofing standards. Don't just take our word for it. Check out the hundreds of 5-star Google reviews from families right here in Columbus who chose Newman Roofing and couldn't be happier. Appointments are filling fast for fall installations, so don't wait. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today. Let Newman Roofing handle your to-do list so you can get back to the things and the people that matter most. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online today at newmanroofing.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a football Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
We're doing football from a fire hose this weekend.
It's a lot going on.
Stuff tonight. Game Saturday, obviously. The International Series starts Sunday morning. Sunday at 1, the 3-0 Buccaneers host the 3-0 Eagles. Baker Mayfield's been taking mental reps in practice this week as he's been limited with a bicep injury. As for the Eagles, left tackle Lane Johnson was a limited participant Thursday. He's dealing with a stinger suffered in their game last week against the Rams. I got this from WIP Sports Radio in Philadelphia. When Lane Johnson plays, the Eagles are 50 games above 500. Again, that's like in his 13-year career. When Lane doesn't play, Philadelphia's 8 games below 500. Thing or not a thing?
Well, that's a massive thing, and that's also, Reese, for you and I who picked NFL games yesterday. Those are all notes that I'd love to have when I'm picking NFL games. Is what is going on with 6 and what's going on in terms of who's eligible in Philly. So just pay attention to all of that this weekend, kids, because that's something to watch. My hunch, the Lane Johnson stat is obviously a thing. That's an incredible thing. I don't know if it's a statistical anomaly. My hunch is it's not when you talk about 50 games over 100, over 500 in that long of a career. My hunch is that all of these people will play, though, Sunday. I think Bake will play, and I think Lane will play, and I think you're gonna see all of these guys on Sunday in a game that I think is going to be a pretty fun one.
Yeah, there's no way Baker Mayfield's not playing, right? The dude played a whole year with like a broken shoulder, basically. So there's no way you're keeping him out of that game. I'll tell you who that's a thing for with Lane Johnson is his agent. And I hope he has that at the ready whenever Lane Johnson is due for another contract. I think it just goes to show you, like, we kind of got in the conversation a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, about was Myles Garrett the best player in football? There's a lot of guys that you never talk about in a discussion like that. Not saying who is or who isn't, but a stat like that tells me Lane Johnson is in the conversation, right? As one of the best professional football players. It also tells you like how important a position like left tackle is, because he is so good. And listen, he's not the guy right in the center of that line, but it's a big reason their tush-push works, because they get guys like him. They have such good offensive linemen. We know they had Jason Kelsey for a long time at that center position. It sure seems like for most of my life, the Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers were the model franchises. It sure seems like right now you could have an argument that maybe the Philadelphia Eagles are the model franchise in the NFL.
Yeah, I think them in Kansas City. I think the reason you could really argue Philly, though, guys, is just because they've done it with different coaches, different quarterbacks. Like, the one constant is ownership and Howie Roseman. But as long as those two guys have been there, they've been in the mix.
The Columbus Blue Jackets are 2-2 in the preseason. They'll skate in Pittsburgh tomorrow night against the Penguins at 7 o'clock. They'll be celebrating their 25th season this coming season. The team announced yesterday the organization's first head coach, Dave King, defenseman Rusty Klesla, Kevin Dineen, Ron Tugnut, and Jean-Luc Grandpierre, all from that inaugural 2000-2001 season, are going to be in Columbus for the first of 5 25th anniversary celebration games. That'll be Saturday, October 18th, the first one against their game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The alumni will be recognized in an on-ice ceremony prior to the puck drop, which is scheduled for 7 o'clock. Thing or not a thing?
Cool thing. You can speak to this, both of you can, better than I, because I wasn't here at the beginning. But everything that I've heard about the beginning is, my God, can you imagine what... It's still great, but can you imagine what this would have been if they would have had more success sooner? Because the barn was packed from Jump Street, and this city embraced it with arms fully extended and wrapped around it. And the only thing that it petered a little was just from the standpoint of they didn't win. And had they won sooner, look out. This would have been, one of those Hockey Town USA type conversations with all respect to what they've done in Detroit. So you guys can speak to it better than me, but that's everything that I've heard or read about that time, was that this thing was just percolating.
So this is a very cool thing. This is also one of those things, Bo, where it's like, holy crap, I'm getting old. Because I remember when there was no Blue Jackets, when there was no nationwide arena and arena district. I remember when it was just like the old remnants of the penitentiary and all of that stuff. And now this team is here. They're 25 years into it. I will admit I was not the Blue Jackets fan in those inaugural years as I am now. But I do remember those teams, and there are some people that those first teams captured that weren't really hockey fans because of the grit they played with, the heart they played with, the toughness they played with. Dave King, a lot of people feel, is one of the most brilliant minds in hockey, and it's a shame that they did not have a better team that he could work with back then. They did. No doubt they left 120% on the ice every night, but it's a shame that he did not have maybe a team that's skilled like this one to work with, because he was a really brilliant mind. Very cool thing that these guys are coming back. Kevin Dineen, I always thought would end up being a coach here. He had some troubles off the ice that kind of derailed his coaching career a little bit. He's still an assistant coach, maybe a head coach in the minor leagues. John Luke's always here. Rusty, the first draft pick. It'll be really cool, all those guys back.
AR does a great Rostislav Klesla from McLean, Doug McLean, who was the GM at the time, who announced his pick. AR does a very good impression of it. So maybe you'll get that a little later this afternoon.
All right, pick your next step. Do we want to do Russell Wilson or do we want to do J.J. Redick?
Let's do Russell Wilson.
All right, so during last night's Amazon Prime broadcast of the Cardinals and the Seahawks, Tony Gonzalez was asked if this is the last we've seen of Wilson, who was benched by the Giants in favor of Jackson Dart. From Gonzalez, quote, honestly, I hope we have. And I say that because I just look at him in his career. If ever there was somebody who played himself out of the Hall of Fame, it's Russell Wilson, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
Well, I don't think he was ever in it to play himself out of it. I think Russell Wilson, the start of his career, was one that it was a building blocks to that end, but it was the very foundation, not anything more than that. I don't know that now he's made a ton of Pro Bowls, that's sometimes misleading, though. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler, which is pretty crazy. He did win the one Super Bowl, so that matters, and he does deserve some credit for that. But I don't know if at any point you looked at him and thought that he was... So his best year is probably 2019. They go 11-5. He throws for 4,100 yards, 31 touchdowns, 5 picks. I'm going to be honest with you. Now that I pull this up, he's still got a hell of a case. He's got a heck of a case. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler, guys. He's won a Super Bowl. He finished in the top 4 of the Offensive Player of the Year 4 times. He was the second-team All-Pro quarterback once. I don't know. He's got an interesting case on his hands. I didn't give him enough credit for what he did in Seattle. It's better than I remembered.
I think it's kind of tough. Like if somebody's Hall of Fame worthy, that they can play themselves out of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I ever consider Russ. I feel like we put too many people in Hall of Fames. Fair. I feel like a Hall of Fame should be like the top of the top. They had an interesting debate last night too. I saw someone, what is Russ? If you had to pick Russ or Eli for the Hall of Fame, yeah, who do you put in? And that's kind of interesting. I don't know if I've ever looked at Russ. I've always felt like if you Hall of Fame test for me, are they a Hall of Famer or not? If I say yes, they are. If I hem-haul at all, if it's not yes, they're not to me. And I feel like I never thought Russ was a Hall of Famer. I never had him in that. I don't think he's ever been like the top quarterback in the league, maybe even never the top 5 of the league. And I don't know how that can be Hall of Fame. I think that's really tough, though, to say somebody could play themselves out. I don't know if I agree with that statement.
So I just am curious where this all stacks because you brought up Eli. Eli's got 2 Super Bowls, including, historic in terms of beating the undefeated Patriots, beating the Patriots twice. Just 4 Super Bowls for Eli. So statistical accumulation for Russ, touchdown to interception, 353 touchdowns, 114 picks. Eli is 366 to 244, so he turned it over a lot more. Quarterback record, Russ is so far 121, 81, and 1. That's 40 games over 500. Eli Manning is 117 and 117. So, yeah, I think Russ is probably he had a better career than I remembered. It's a bad job out of me. When I pulled it up, 10 Pro Bowls. That's a real one. We'll attempt to know the scores coming up next. Bake's been on a heater. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Oven-baked French toast, hot melty cheese, and meat, and meat, and meat. Introducing UDF's new 3-meat French toast sandwich, piled with bacon, sausage, and Canadian bacon. United Dairy Farmers, mornings made for you.
Listen up. That's the sound of big money.
ABC Tonight, Celebrity Wheel of Fortune is back.
Yes, that's it.
With big stars from the silver screen to the dance floor.
Tarek Hoff, actor Katie Lowes is here. Joey McIntyre.
Big thrills.
These stars are in it to win it.
And big fun.
Keep your shirt on. I'm out.
Ryan Seacrest and Vanna White host Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Tonight at 8 on ABC6.
Good morning, Columbus. It's going to be a good day, and it's going to be big. With the biggest morning news team in Central Ohio, Good Day Columbus. The biggest news, weather, and traffic in town every day. Bringing you over 5 hours of breaking news, live reports, and continuing coverage, and stories that'll make you smile. First Warning Weather gets you ready for the day ahead, and Steer Clear Team Traffic will get you to work on time. Good Day Columbus, weekday mornings on ABC6. it's going to be a good day.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Get the MVP, more value price from Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 2026 Chevy Trailblazer, only $198 a month. New 26 Chevy Equinox, $239 a month. Or a new 26 Silverado, just $399 a month. Visit CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 9/30/25.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Hey, it's Anthony. Tailgating, hiking stadium stairs, going out after the games. It's a great time of year. It's also the time of year I'm on my feet a lot. And there won't be a time when I don't have my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store in my shoes. They make all the difference for me. They help my feet, my hips, my back. They're not just like regular insoles. They're designed so I get firm yet flexible function. They actually correct poor foot biomechanics and give me even more comfort. The fitting process is simple. From the moment you walk in, the Good Feet store will personalize the process. From the pain that brought you to them in the first place to your lifestyle needs. They'll properly measure your feet and arch size. Then take the free test walk. If you love them, wear them home like I did. Your new arch supports will help you begin living the life you love without your feet getting in the way. Just stop by the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway or Stringtown Road in Grove City and learn more at goodfeet.com.
Is your money just lying around? Switch to Huntington Bank, and your money's always doing something. Like auto saving for special events, tracking your teen spending, and helping protect your parents from fraud. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot, and a massive selection of carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, and hardwood, even installation supplies. Everything you need for your next project. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Poth Road in Whitehall. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends September 30th. Dealers welcome.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. It's time to ditch the traffic jams and the rat race and take in that crisp morning air, the crackle of a warm campfire. With RCD RV's Fall Into Adventure Sale, you can. September 15th through the 30th, you can cozy up to incredible deals. Sale pricing on all remaining new 2025 models. And RCD has travel trailers starting under $12,995, as well as pre-owned motorhomes priced under $39,995. Visit one of our 3 locations, Delaware, Heath, Pataskala. Shop online anytime at RCDRV.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 1 Ohio State's on the road for the first time this season. Buckeyes are 7.5-point favorites at 3-0 Washington. It'll be a 3:30 kick Saturday from Husky Stadium. Washington hasn't lost there since 2021. We'll have Buckeyes and Huskies pregame coverage tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. In the NFL last night, the Seahawks beat the Cardinals 23-20 in Arizona. In baseball, the Guardians and Tigers share first place in the AL Central. Cleveland owns the tiebreaker with 3 games left. Guardians will host the Rangers tonight at 7:10. The Reds enter the weekend one back of the Mets for the final NL wildcard spot. Cincinnati's at Milwaukee tonight at 8:10. And the 45th Ryder Cup is underway at Bethpage Black. Team Europe leads after taking 3 of the morning foursomes. Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele are the lone bright spot for Team USA. They're 1 up through 14. This update's sponsored by Behind the O. Buckeye fans, Behind the O is now in the App Store, free for fans, NIL for athletes. Download Behind the O in the App Store today.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where Just send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
I mean, we got bombed in the Ryder Cup this morning.
Not great.
I mean, the first three just got absolutely
weren't even close.
No. Crazy. Yeah, so it's Shoffley and Cantlay. They've got to pull through here to give you any. I mean, you can't go down 4-0 to start the day. I mean, they only need 10 to retain it.
And I believe they went up 2, but they lost the last hole, so they're just up 1 now. Shoffley just teeing off on the 15th, and that's going way left.
He just hit it into the hospitality tent is where he hit it.
That was a big
Quite literally,
there.
about 100 yards left is where he hit that one. You've been right down the middle with your drives, my friend. Let's see if we can know the scores again.
It's time for Know the Scores on Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, 8-2 last week for Baker.
Let's go.
27-16 overall in the season.
Thank goodness we bet Oklahoma-Auburn at 7.5 and not 6.5 like it finished.
Bo, do you want to tell the class what you did?
It's fine. 6-5.
No, 6-4.
6-4.
Don't give yourself an extra loss.
Yeah, 6-4.
You don't do that.
So what am I? I'm 24-19. 24-19. Yeah. So I'm hanging in. 5 games over. Bake cruising at 9 over. So we'll see what we can do here.
We got a pair of interesting games on Friday night. We'll start 7 o'clock on ESPN. Number 8, Florida State is a 6.5-point road favorite at Virginia.
Trap game for the Noles, right? Friday night, UVA, their first ACC loss. First ever ACC loss. They didn't lose for the first several years in the ACC. I want to say it was on a Thursday night in Charlottesville. UVA beat them with the Barbers. Warwick Dunn came up just short on a run into the end zone that they were trying to. They got to stop. They got Miami next week in the biggest game they've had on campus there in a very, very long time. Where are we with Castellanos? Is he an in? This line leads me to believe that he's in and that he's going. And if that's the case, I like the Noles to cover and handle their business. Give me Florida State in this one, 31, UVA 14.
So this Virginia team, they're pretty offensive. They've scored quite a lot of points so far this year. Now, I know the competition hasn't been great, but they're scoring as much as a Tony Bennett basketball team right now, quite frankly. And you mentioned it, Bo. Number 2, Miami on the schedule next week for Florida State. The Noles win, but they have a lot of trouble here. 38-35, Florida State.
Pay attention to the scores there. 9 o'clock on Fox, number 24 TCU's at Arizona State. The Sun Devils, Baker, are 3.5-point home favorites.
TCU being ranked right now and Arizona State not is something that I would not have had to start the year. This is a really fun football game tonight. I just don't think Leavitt and Dillingham will lose at home, but I think 3.5's too many. I've got Arizona State 31, TCU 30.
Yeah, I think it's the hook that brings you back. So pay attention to the scores on this. I do think Arizona State takes care of business in a close one. This screams shootout to me. To me, it feels like 41-38, something like that, Arizona State. So, yeah, I like Arizona State closer than the experts think.
We'll go to Saturday at noon. Louisville is a 4.5-point road favorite at Pittsburgh in a game you can see on ESPN2.
Is Holston still playing at Pitt? Is he's fine? Everything's good with him?
Well, he's at Pitt, so I'm not sure everything's fine.
I think he's okay.
But I think he's healthy.
Like, I'm trying to think to myself.
He was playing last week against West Virginia.
Yeah, let him live a little bit. So, look, anytime that I can take a home dog, I like it. So I like Pitt to keep this one close. But maybe they'll even spring it. Give me Pitt to get the win. I'm going to go outright. Pitt wins this one outright.
I don't like this game. I think this game is gross. I think this is going to be not fun to watch, quite frankly. What I do know is Louisville beat Pitt last year 37-9, and I don't think these teams are that much different. Louisville might not be quite as good because they don't have Tyler Shuck, I like Louisville, though, on the road, 27-20. I got the Cardinals covering.
At noon in Champaign, it's the big noon kick featuring number 23 Illinois and number 21 USC. The Trojans, 6.5-point road favorites, Bake.
I just don't believe it yet with USC. I know they've got some offense, but I don't know if they can stop anyone. I also know who's on the schedule for USC the next 2 weeks. And that's Michigan, and that's Notre Dame. I like Illinois to bounce back. Give me the Fighting Illini, not only to cover, but to win 34-31.
That would not surprise me at all. The other factor here is, imagine being USC. This is a 9 o'clock body clock game for you.
Correct.
Flying across the country to play in Champaign. Do you sleepwalk for the first quarter or so? I'm with you. I think Bielema can coach it. That one stings from last week, getting spanked the way that they did. I do think they bounce back as well. Would not surprise me if Illinois won, but I don't need them to. I think USC maybe wins a close one, but I could see Illinois winning it too. 24-23, 24-21, something like that. So I like Illinois in the cover city there.
Saturday noon in Fayetteville. I think it's the Notre Dame fraudulent Irish, but the 22-ranked Marcus Freemans are 4.5-point favorites at Arkansas.
I just don't think Arkansas is any good. I just don't. And I know that a lot of people want to pick this because it's the mighty SEC and all of that. Notre Dame's 2 losses are very good losses. They lost at Miami. They lost close at home to Texas A&M. Their defense is suspect, but I don't think Arkansas has too much that is going to be on the level of the 2 teams that their losses are to. I like the Irish going down there and winning. Marcus, go take care of business down there. Give me the Irish winning this one. I think there's going to be a little bit of a shootout, though. Irish 35, Arkansas 28.
So I understand people are enamored with the Arkansas quarterback, but people do realize that they've lost to Ole Miss and to Memphis the past 2 weeks. And I'm with you, Bo. I think Notre Dame's losses are pretty damn good losses, quite frankly. I don't understand the Arkansas love in this one. Give me the Irish by 10. Notre Dame 31, Arkansas 21.
Saturday at 3:30, number 13 Ole Miss hosts number 4 LSU. The Rebels, the home team, the 1.5-point home favorite.
So, rightfully so. We're talking a lot about Penn State and Oregon and Alabama and Georgia. I think this game is absolutely great. I think this one will be a fun one. I understand Ole Miss is at home. I understand the backup quarterback looked really good. LSU 27, Ole Miss 24.
Yeah, I see it the same way as you. I think LSU's defense is a real one. I know offensively they're not hitting the stride the way that they ought to. And Ole Miss, backup quarter, Chambliss has looked good. He's looked very good. This just doesn't feel like the type of game Lane Kiffin wins at Ole Miss. It just doesn't. I think Brian Kelly goes in there and gets the win. I think it's a classic. A little bit of a slugfest, though. Give me LSU 21, Ole Miss 18.
When you got to tell people you're not a cult, you are absolutely a cult. Number 9, Texas A&M is a 6.5-point home favorite, hosting Auburn tomorrow at 3:30.
It's just a weird place, I think, right? And there's a lot of buzz right now for A&M because why? The SEC's got to give buzz to somebody. So as soon as somebody stumbles, they got to replace it somewhere else. I think Auburn will be game for this one. I wouldn't be shocked. I love how Auburn played last week at Oklahoma. I think they'll be ready for this game. I think it's a very competitive game. It wouldn't shock me if Auburn won the game. I'll take A&M in a close one. I think this mimics the game last week at Oklahoma. I'll take A&M in a close one, 24-23.
I'm still a little upset at Jackson Arnold for taking that safety at the end of the game last week and costing some people money on their parlays. I guess some people did win with that, but a lot of people lost. I don't understand it. I don't get why he did that. I think Auburn's pretty good. Hugh Freeze historically has been a really good coach. I think Auburn's good. I don't think they're quite good enough. They lose, but they cover. Aggies 38, Tigers 34.
You'll only be able to see this if you have Peacock. Number 11, Indiana is an 8.5-point road favorite at Iowa tomorrow at 3:30, Baker.
Iowa has been kind of offensive this year for them. 34 points, only 13 in their loss to Iowa State, then 47, and then they put 38 last week against Rutgers. I think Indiana comes down a little bit. This number, just a little too big for me. I got the Hoosiers 31 and the Hawkeyes 24.
I see this the same way as you. It's too much, and I think Iowa with Ferentz, I think they'll play. You're right. The offense has been better. They were great last week against Rutgers, where they rallied in the second half. I think you got a competitive game on your hands here. I think Indiana wins. I think they get out of there with a win out of Kinnick, but I think it's very close. Indiana 31, Iowa 28.
We got a whiteout tomorrow night in Happy Valley. Number 6 Oregon's at number 3 Penn State. The Nittany Lions are 3.5-point favorites tomorrow at 7:30.
A week ago at this time, Kirk Cignetti proved me wrong. Can James Franklin do the same? I think the pressure on Franklin is just immense. I've talked about it here at Ohio Stadium. Sometimes that crowd turns on you and it becomes nervy. I think Oregon plays so free in this game. I like the Ducks going across the country and beating the Nittany Lions with Dante Moore. I got Oregon winning a fun game, a really good game, and a game where neither team is eliminated, but some damage on Franklin in this one. I got Oregon winning this one 35-34.
This is going to be a really good game. And listen, there's an argument that Oregon is the most impressive team in the country this year that has looked the most right on the field. You could say that. Nobody has talked about Penn State since the start of the season. People have talked about Ohio State. People have talked about LSU. People have talked about Arch not looking right. People have talked about Clemson sucking. Nobody has said a word about Penn State. Penn State gets the win at home.
And?
I think this game's going to be a lot like the Ohio State-Oregon game last year, where the home team squeaks out a victory. Penn State 30, Ducks 27.
Pay attention to the scores there, folks. The final game we'll pick. Number 5, Georgia, is a 2.5-point home favorite, hosting number 17, Alabama, tomorrow night at 7:30.
I'm kind of surprised this line wasn't more, quite frankly, because people just kind of gave up on Alabama after they lost to Florida State to begin the year. I'll tell you what, Vanderbilt next, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, that's what's coming up for Alabama. I will tell you what, they need this one way more than Georgia does, because Georgia really only has Texas left on the schedule. I think the nation's longest home winning streak dies this week. Give me Bama 41-40 over Georgia in a classic.
Oh, baby. I don't see it that way. I think Georgia's defense will bow up. I think they'll make enough plays. I think the home field's enough. Bama's made some strides, but I still think that there's still too much with that team I don't like. I like Georgia winning this one and covering their business. Give me the Dogs 24 and Alabama 21 is what I'm going with on that one. The matchup and we'll, of course, pick ours at the end of the game between Ohio State and Washington. The strength versus strength matchup is that Buckeye defense against everything that DeMond Williams and the Washington offense throws at you, and it is a lot. The keys to that matchup coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Realtors usually charge you 6% to sell your house, but not my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They take 1%. It's in the name. And this is full service. No shortcuts, no for sale by owner crapola. They do it all. Call 614-451-6616.
Get the MVP, more value price from Coghlan Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Get 0% financing on a new 25 Kia Sorento or 3.49% on a new 25 Telluride. Visit CoglanKia.com.
Coghlan has the car for you.
Based on January to December 2024 retail sales. 0% for 48 months and 3.49% for 60 months equals $20.83 and $18.19 for 1,000 finance through Kia Motor Finance. Not all will qualify. All qualified manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. Ends 9/30/25.
Looking to get your roof or siding replaced this fall? Call the company that delivers an excellent customer experience every time. Newman Roofing. Don't wait. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Sunday, a day of rest, relaxation, and Browns football. Catch the Brownies as they battle the Lions in the Motor City.
Live fan coverage starts Sunday at 11 with the Kick at 1.
Your Central Ohio home of the Browns, The Fan.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun. Your way. That means you pick your wager. Will it be $1, $2, a crisp $20? Your call. Like picking your own numbers? Use any inspiration you like. Birthdays, jersey numbers, you name it. And if you don't feel like choosing, there's the Super Quick Auto Pick. With regular promotions that'll get you more bang for your Keno buck, multiple ways to win, prizes galore, and live draws every few minutes. Anytime is the right time to get in on the Keno action. Keno is always fun, your way. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunshine for this afternoon. High temperatures reach to the upper 70s. And then for tonight, mostly clear skies as temperatures cool down into the upper 50s. And we are tracking a beautiful weekend with more sunshine, and low 80s are on the forecast here for Saturday and Sunday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Have you already started your tailgate? Us too. It's Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is, and we'll get to the strength versus strength matchup, the Buckeye defense against this Washington offense. Before we do that, though, here's Reese with a message you ought to pay attention to.
Yeah, we got football coming out of the fire hydrant this weekend. International football Sunday morning. Even baseball's down to the wire. Game day drinks are important, probably the most important part of your game day plan. Nothing pairs better with sports than beer. We got so much going on this weekend, though. I don't think you can really afford to feel all of those beers that you want to drink. Certainly me, with what I just said about the baseball coming down to the wire Sunday night. So I've been mixing in some non-alcoholic beers from my friends at Go Brewing. Award-winning non-alcoholic craft beer that actually tastes like beer. Go Brewing's available at Kroger. Find it in the beer aisle. You can visit gobrewing.com/thefan for free beer. When you buy 2 6-packs of Go Brewing from Kroger, you'll get reimbursed for one of them. That's gobrewing.com/thefan. Properly prepare yourself for this wild weekend.
There you go. Pay attention on that. And pay attention when Washington has the ball, because this is the strength versus strength matchup of this. Damon Williams, quarterback at Washington, has been lights out to start this season. He is a stud. Here he is statistically, 778 yards in those 3 games that he's played. He's completing nearly 74% of his passes, 11.4 a clip on the attempt, 6 touchdowns, no picks. Now, he's not played anybody like this, but all you can do is play the teams on your schedule, and they have dominated. But it's not just him. Jonah Coleman, the tailback, 347 yards in those 3 games, 6.8 a clip. By the way, Damon Williams, a true dual threat, 220 yards already on the ground, 6.5 a clip on that. They have Denzel Boston at wide receiver. He is a stud, 16 carries for 249 yards. They have talent on the offensive side. For Ohio State, according to Coach Day, and anyone with a pulse, you have got to stay disciplined with this attack.
Those are guys who have been here before, and now they're really stepping into these roles. And to get our first road win in a team like this who's won 22 straight games at home is going to be a huge challenge, and they'll be a big part of that because of exactly what you just talked about. We got to stop the run, but in the passing game, it isn't just about stopping a normal passing game. It's also the quarterback's feet. I mean, he's quick. He's got great short area quickness. He can extend plays. And so we've got to understand how that works, be disciplined, and make sure we can execute the defense.
The guys that will be primarily charged with slowing down Damon Williams are Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese. Let's start with Sonny on the threat that Damon Williams provides.
I think sometimes when guys are spying on the line of scrimmage, as the pocket goes back, you don't approach the line, and you stay back and you create more space. And then I would just say, taking the right angle, you got to just go shoot your shot. He's a fast guy, so take the right angle, shoot your shot.
Yeah, I think their attitude on this one's going to be such a big part of it. Caleb Downs is kind of the Swiss Army knife in all of this. When you have maybe the best overall player in all of college football on your team, that helps. Here's Caleb Downs, the 2-time All-American, on the challenges the UW offense presents.
Really good offensive coordinator. He's been in a lot of places, coached with Coach P. So really good coach combined with a lot of good players. QB's a really good player. Running back's a really good player. Receiver's a really good player. So they have a lot of talent around the field with a good OC calling the plays.
From the Washington perspective, obviously, everyone's read the brochure. They expect Ohio State to spy Damon Williams. Here's Jed Fish on that.
We would expect them to have some spy variation, whether they use Caleb Downs, whether they use Reese, whether they mix and match different guys to keep an eye on Damon. And, that's fine. They got to keep an eye on Damon, and then Jonah, and then Adam or Denzel and other players as well. So we understand that challenge of, what they're going to do to try to take away the quarterback run game, and we'll have to adjust.
This Buckeye defense is kind of built for this offense. I don't know that we've ever had I hate doing that. I shouldn't do that. That's hyperbole run amok. But this is a very special triumvirate of those 2 linebackers and that safety and Caleb Downs. And what they have in Downs is a true football defensive Swiss Army knife. And if they want him to just spy Damon Williams, they can put him in the box and they can have him do it. If they want to drop him and they want to roll the dice with Arvell or Sonny, they are the rare type of athletes who combine the size, speed, and intellect to be able to get everywhere that Williams is. This defense is kind of built, guys, for this offense.
Yeah, it's interesting. They had kind of a test with this with Parker Navarro for Ohio a couple of weeks ago, and Damon Williams kind of just takes it one step higher because of the talent that he's got around him. But those 3 that you mentioned, Reese, Styles, and Downs, are kind of the perfect counter to what Washington's going to want to do offensively. It's like you've got 3 guys, 3 true field generals that'll be able to communicate in the noise, that'll be able to do everything that you can ask them to do at so many different points of the game. Is Matt Patricia has talked about scheming defenses and getting his personnel to match what the offense gives to you or throws at you stylistically. This will be so much fun from a just football fan standpoint to watch how this defense gets schemed, like Caleb Downs said, to that great offense.
I believe that this show has been leading the Damon Williams bandwagon for a while on this station. We've talked about him from back in the preseason and said, hey, this kid came on as a freshman. He's really dangerous, and I think he is a heck of a quarterback, maybe the best athlete at the quarterback position that Ohio State will face this year. But with that being said, Arch Manning is a pretty good runner of the football as well at the quarterback position. He's not the athlete that DeMond Williams is, but a pretty good runner, and Ohio State held him in check. Parker Navarro was very dangerous with his legs, and for the most part, Ohio State kept him in check. Neither of them on the level of DeMond Williams, but maybe a notch or two behind. I think Ohio State has had the perfect game plan so far for keeping quarterbacks in the pocket and not letting them get out and beat you with their legs. So I'm not as worried about DeMond Williams this week, I guess, beating Ohio State with his legs as I was earlier in the year, because I've seen that Ohio State has the blueprint, and sometimes the blueprint is just really damn good athletes on defense, and that's what Ohio State has.
Yeah, they just have freaks of nature in those positions, and so they kind of have the answers to the test on him. This is a massive test for them, obviously, but to Bake's point and to Reese's point as well, like they've kind of had the perfect kind of run up to it. So I'm pretty bullish on what I think the Buckeye defense will do Saturday out in Seattle. We'll get Doug Lesmeries' opinion on all of this in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice here. Football is back, and it also marks the kickoff to huge savings at McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Right now, you can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 with up to $12,000 off MSRP for qualified buyers. Just imagine riding up to your tailgate party in a brand new Silverado from McDaniel. And McDaniel GM Superstore has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. They're just a short drive north off Route 23 on 95 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. It's football season, and just like on the field, success starts with the right game plan and the right team. That's why I'm proud to team up with Monogram Homes. They're the true custom home builder, bringing precision, creativity, and attention to every detail, just like we do on Saturdays. If you're ready to build, don't settle for standard. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Drive your dream car home today, no matter your credit history. Hey, it's Phil here at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall. We proudly accept all credit types, good, bad, or none. Get pre-approved in minutes and hit the road with confidence. Get your new ride today. Call 614-861-7150 or shop our huge selection online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com. Your perfect ride is credit ready and waiting at Capital Ford of Columbus.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and Friday at 11:30, we are very fortunate that you get to listen to Doug Lesmeries, the Bill and Doug Show on YouTube, Substack, Bill and Doug on Ohio State football. Check it out there on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Buddy, I led the show with this. College football was always a very provincial sport in that you kind of judged yourself against the teams in your area. Obviously, we've changed that dramatically with conference expansion over the last few years. This one's still special to me. And growing up in that region of the country, Washington was the glamour program when I was a kid, bud. They were winning national titles and Purple Rain and Don James and all of it. And they had it to the national championship game 2 years ago. Now, to me, this is for Jed Fish and his program. They don't need to win it, Doug, but in that big of a city, they got to be competitive, and it's an incredible barometer for where they are. Where are you on this as a Big Ten game tomorrow out in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think from afar, for people in Ohio or didn't grow up in that area, the Don James era, you knew Washington was good, and then you think about the national title game 2 years ago. But when Ohio State in Urban's last game, that Rose Bowl at the end of the 18 season, as good as Washington was then, I kind of thought of them as like opponent X. They were almost like generic, like, hey, this is Urban's going out, Ryan Day's coming in. It's about Ohio State, and they're playing some team in the Rose Bowl, right? And now it's a reminder of like what Washington did 2 years ago, the talent they have right now. It is great. This is not USC. This is not Oregon. This is like, right, the third of the four that you added to the Big Ten. But think about how big we think this is. And I do think just sitting and watching Washington, you watch their offense. For Ohio State fans who haven't seen them a lot, it's really familiar. It's a pro-style thing. Like the talent they have, they want to be Ohio State, I think, offensively especially. And so I think it is a barometer. Of course, they can't ever strive to be that, but a version of that, I think it is a test, and I think Ohio State fans might come away from this thinking like, man, those guys remind me of us a little bit, and that includes having dudes with the ball in their hands who can really run and make big plays.
Doug, have you been out there to cover a game? Did you go in 07?
07. I went in 07. Yep.
Yeah. For our odd, and I know there's a bunch of Buckeye fans going out there. I'll be curious to see what the split is. My hunch is it'll be similar to the Oregon split last year out in Eugene. How would you describe not just the setting? I mean, they call it the greatest setting in college football with the sailgating, all of that. Not just the setting, but just kind of the circumstances that the University of Washington has occupying in a massive city like Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the different part, right? Which is kind of cool that the Big Ten does have some of these, that it's a big city, that it's not a quaint little college town. But then it is so picturesque. And then like everybody, even Brian Hartline talking about it, that 07 trip, he's like, yeah, I went to the fish market and caught a fish. And it's like, I think I went to the fish market and caught a fish. Like that's what you do when you go to Seattle. You catch a fish and then you go to a nice seafood dinner. And then maybe in between you watch a college football game. But right, there's a lot of Ohio State fans, to your point about that, who they try to go to one road game a year. And how cool is it that this is one of them? Not that it's not cool to go to East Lansing or it's not cool to go to Iowa City, but it's something new. And again, as weird as this is, you're in Washington when you're there. You don't wake up and you're not confused about like, oh, which Midwestern college town is this? Like, no, this is Seattle, baby.
Yeah, it is. It's a massive city for the people who haven't been out there. Doug, from the Ohio State perspective, I think this schedule set up kind of perfectly for them. You get Texas in the opener, and it's set up perfectly because you won the opener, right? So that helps. You win that opener by any means necessary. Then you get kind of a glorified scrimmage against Grambling, then a little bit of an uptick in competition in Ohio, and that game was a little frisky, so you got to be tested a little bit. Then you get the bye, and then you get this one, the first road test. How do you think Ryan Day offensively with Julian Sand will approach this test on Saturday?
Yeah, I think Damon Williams Jr. is going to have something to say about that because I think Washington's going to score, and so then you got to let Julian go, right? I think Damon Williams Jr. is going to play better than Arch Manning played, right? For all this, like this guy's the real deal, and I do think in their place, I think Washington's offense will put a little pressure on Ohio State's offense, which means training wheels off, do your thing. You've got to take shots down the field. We know he's 9 of 9. Julian Sand is on throws of 20 yards or more. But the frequency, can they up that a little bit? Do you maybe go up tempo at times? Washington will go up tempo at times, like try to keep that defense on its heels. That as good as Ohio State's defense is, and I think Ohio State's defense has a couple things that are exactly what you want to stop Washington, I think they have to let the offense go. So I think this is that they kept the governor on against Texas and they won that way. I don't think they can or will do that. And it's a test. Like this is a real road test for Julian Sand. I think he'll make a mistake. He might make 2. He might throw a pick. He might throw a pick 6. But you've got to keep the pedal down because I don't think you have a choice. And it'll be a great test and a great look at this guy.
Yeah, if you watch if you didn't watch the Washington State game last week, the Apple Cup game out on the Palouse with Washington State and Washington, like they threw it on UW. They threw it around, and they don't have 4 and 17. Yeah. So, and I do think, Doug, and you and I have talked about this, I do think that by the time you get to October, November, this is going to be a pass-happy Buckeye offense because Julian's very comfortable doing it, and that's where all the talent is on the outside. So the running backs are looking better, certainly with Bo Jackson's emergence. But I do wonder, Doug, if this will be kind of the first of like, okay, this is who we are now. We've had a month. This is who we are now.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. I do think more shots, right? Again, the idea that and the receivers know this. This is Ryan Walters and a defense that likes to play man coverage. It won't only be that. but there will be opportunities just like there were against Ohio. I think they'll take those shots even more frequently. We've seen Julian Sand be able to work the middle of the field into the tight ends and that kind of thing. Maybe this is the game where the slot receiver comes into the offense and Brandon Innes in a way that it hasn't happened so far. But I think it's the full package. But then I'll also be curious because every now and then Ohio State likes to get into those drives, especially when they go a little tempo, where they hand it off 9 out of 11 times and just keep you on your heels and try. I'll be curious if they try to do that at some point because it's something they certainly like to mix in big games. And if they do try to have a drive where they really pound it, who's the back in the game at that point?
You think this is a 4-quarter game?
I do. I think Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, and Sonny Styles are the 3 guys maybe in America that I'd want chasing Damon Williams, right? That second level of defense for Ohio State because they'll run Williams in called runs. He'll get to the edge and turn up field very quickly. And then obviously on scramble, he's not a one read and go guy, but like if the second read's not there, he'll go. He'll go up the middle. Really smart about when to take off and explosive when he does. But man, that's what Caleb Downs is built for. That's what I think Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, like the others, just watching them, Colorado State and Washington State didn't seem to spy Damon Williams very much. And it was like, man, they're letting this guy run. So I think like either Sonny or Arvell just like keeping eyes on him and spying him on every passing down, I think is very likely. And then tracking him down. And if he tries to go and he can't go, and I also think pass rush integrity for Ohio State, which they've shown through 3 games, they're not necessarily as worried about pinning their ears back and getting after you. They just want to box you in. If he feels like there's nowhere to go and he runs, that's going to be tough for them. But I still think they'll score. So I think it's like a 7 or 10 point game into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar read. Is there anybody in the country who has more pressure on him than James Franklin tomorrow night?
Probably not. I mean, only one might be close is like in a weird different way is Kirby Smart, who's 1-6 against Alabama, right? Like that's the team he can't get over the hump against. But, you know, James Franklin, if he had 2 national titles, we'd be talking about him differently. It's not an end-of-the-world game for Penn State because they can lose to Oregon and win the national title in the 12-team playoff. But it's just the talk and the doubt and the haters, right? But they haven't looked good. I was rewatching, like, Penn State, like, just Drew Aller's missing throws. You know, like, it's just like it hasn't taken that step. And, you know, Dante Moore has looked pretty good for Oregon. So, like, I'm taking Oregon close in that game. I kind of like you're still waiting on Penn State. And is it going to be – they didn't show it against Villanova, but now the real Penn State's going to emerge against Dan Lanning?
I know.
I don't know. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, and at some point it has to. Like, I mean, they're as all in as you can be this year for them. So, yeah, I'm with you. This is it, though. This is the weekend we've been waiting for. I mean, there are so many big games this weekend. Going to be fun to monitor all of it. Appreciate your time as always, my friend. Thanks for giving us a little bit of it today.
Thanks, man.
All right, there he goes. Doug Lesmeries joining us as he does every single Friday on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do 3 things to a Buckeye victory coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Daily Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is the Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Flat Auto Glass. As the team's playing Washington and Seattle, it brings to mind getting from the Seattle area Emeka Ibuka and Jalen Tuimoloau. Those were real good gets for you, weren't they, Coach?
Yeah, and G. Scott, too. Yeah. 3 guys who had a major impact here. And, you know, when you think about when your time's done, you want to have made an impact. And all 3 of those guys, in their own way, made an impact here at Ohio State. Not just, you know, bringing home a national championship, but the impact they left on a lot of people here, on and off the field. And, you know, very unique that, you know, we would have 3 guys from Seattle on the same team and really in the same year. And all of those guys, you know, have gone on to the NFL. I know G's still, you know, looking for kind of what's next for him. But Emeka's off to a great start, and so is JT, and we're proud of those guys.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment. Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Ryder, your team's in Seattle playing Washington. Can you see if having these West Coast teams in the Big Ten has had any kind of influence on recruiting?
Oh, I think it has. Yeah, I think back before this was the case, teams knew about the teams that were across the country, but the country's gotten smaller year after year, and now that the Big Ten is a nationwide conference, you just see a lot of teams. The Rose Bowl certainly has helped us, with exposure on the West Coast, but now that we're playing these teams and the teams are coming out to play us, it just makes for more of a connection, I would say, with the folks on the West Coast.
It's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through September 30th, get 2.99 APR financing on a rugged new 25 Tacoma. Excludes TRD Pro and Trail Hunter. Or lease a well-equipped Tacoma SR5 for $269 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And the Capital Florida Columbus High School football game of the week takes us to Hilliard tonight. 4-1 Davidson battling undefeated Orange. Coverage starts at 6:30. The kick at 7. After the game, it's Byers, Subaru, Dublin overtime with Bacon Lee. Friday nights for high school football right here on The Fan. What do we have in the poll today, Reese?
Daily Fan Poll asks, what do you think will be the result of tomorrow's game between Ohio State and Washington? Ohio State by 1 score, Ohio State by 2 or more, Washington by 1, Washington by 2 or more are your options. 72% of you think Ohio State's going to win by 2 or more scores. 20% say Ohio State by a score. 5% Washington by a score.
There you go. All right. You know what time it is, kids. Time for 3 keys to a Buckeye victory.
3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
It's good to be back. Good to be back. This is going to be a fun one. Number one for me, I just think it's what we've talked about all day, and I think it's pretty simple. I do think that this Buckeye defense was built to stop teams like this Washington offense, and I think the triumvirate of Sonny, Arvell, and Caleb is the answers to the test. Washington has not played anybody with this type of talent. I think what Matt Patricia has dreamed up over the last 2 weeks, think about this. They had the bye week to prepare. They watched Washington against Washington State. They know exactly what Washington State can and cannot do, where their struggles are. And it feels like defensively, you have the perfect 3 athletes to contain DeMond Williams as good as anybody could in the country. So if I'll tell you this, even if they lose, if he has a big game here, he's going to vault himself into the Heisman conversation very quickly if they keep winning, because no one has had a test like this. We saw what happened with Arch in the opener. I think they'll even be more keyed up for this one. So those 3 cats and what Patricia uses to deploy them is going to be key to this one, and it's where my attention will be in a very big way Saturday.
First thing for me, handle the noise. No penalties, no turnovers. Play a clean game amid the atmosphere that's going to be one of college football's best this weekend, in a weekend where you're going to get some of the best atmospheres in the sport. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you posted a picture, Bo, you retweeted a post by Washington Athletics of the scene at Husky Stadium with the mountains and the bay in the background.
Stunning.
Yeah. Keep it clean there.
First thing for me, and now I don't want them to be reckless like Bo driving his kids to school yesterday, but I want all gas, no brakes. Do it legally, but let's go. I mean, Julian, first road game, but he's already played Texas. He's already been in a big environment. You've had a few games. Let's normal game plan, step on the gas.
Yeah, that dovetails into my second, and I think we all want to see that. Even if it's a struggle, I still think I want to see it. And I just wrote down, let Julian live. Like, the kid, he's never played in a game like this. I get it. But he was around all last year. He saw what the environment was like at Oregon. He saw what some of the environment was like in the Cotton Bowl and those type of things. Like, he knows what's coming. He was in Penn State. Didn't play, but he was there. He saw it. And this kid's been preparing for this his whole life. This is a California kid. He's back on the West Coast. Let him do what he was born to do. Let him spin it around. And by the way, I think that's where your best version of the Ohio State offense is going to come from, with him playing free and spinning it primarily to 4 and 17. But watch out for Max Clare having a big game potentially in this one as well. So, yeah, I think let Julian live is where my head is today.
I wrote boat race, but let Julian rip. DeBomb. I think this team can win it. They can't keep up with you. Washington cannot keep up with Ohio State. It's game 4. For your quarterback. Like, that's time to step it up offensively, and that's bombing them out of their stadium.
Second thing for me, defensively, same game plan you had against Texas, same game plan you had about OU and Parker Navarro. DeMond Williams is really good, but so is your defense, and so are your athletes, and so are your scheme. Just do what you have been doing defensively.
Finally for me, and this is probably as much as I think about all the obvious things in this matchup, and usually this is not a talent equates game. Let's not make Washington better than they are. They do not have equal talent to Ohio State. Doesn't mean that it won't be competitive and crazy things happen in college football, but this is not a talent equates game. You'll have those a little bit later in the season. But one of the things that has been kind of a burr in Ryan Day's saddle the last few years has been the red zone inefficiency. And even if you go back to the Ohio game from 2 weeks ago, an inability to put it in the paint. It's like when they get inside the 10, the field gets so small, both literally and figuratively for them, and they leave 6 on the board far too often. This is a team that when teams go into the red zone on them, they score all of the time. 100% of the teams that go into the red zone, they have not played a team like this. Ohio State, when they go in the red zone, it's got to be 6s over 3s because you can feel it. You could feel it in the building, Reese. I don't know if you'd agree in the Ohio game. When you walked away with 3, the place is deflated. Ryan Day's deflated. The team's deflated. Those first couple of drives, you get it in that red area, you have got to put 6 on the board.
Yeah, That's definitely. I just keep thinking back to that play with Julian on 4th down, the first drive of the game against Ohio. Like, if you see it and you just dart ahead, you score a touchdown likely on that play, and the flow of the game is so much more in your favor. I think that's so important for Ohio State to stay on schedule. And they've also got to get Washington off schedule. The Huskies convert at a 75% clip on 3rd down. Ohio State allows opponents to convert at a 25% clip. Ohio State's 38th in the country. 46% of the time it's 3rd down, they convert that. So Ohio State's got to get their conversion rate up by keeping Washington's conversion rate down. That 3rd down is going to be so important early in tomorrow's contest.
Final thing for me, Bo knows.
That's right.
I want a holy trinity at Ohio State for not only the rest of this year, but next year of Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, and one Bo Lamar Jackson. I hope tomorrow is Bo Jackson's coming out party on the national stage. Let's give him the ball 20 times, and let's see what this kid can cook up. Because so far, with 9 carries, 10 carries a game,
10 a clip.
He has been pretty damn good. I have been talking about Washington for a while and how I think this is a tough game. And I do believe this is going to be a difficult game. I believe heading into the 4th quarter, this is maybe within 7 points, maybe around 10. I don't know. Vegas put this line out at the beginning at 13.5, though, for a reason. And I feel like maybe I'm being a little conservative because I don't know if anybody can score this many points on this Ohio State defense. But I've got the Buckeyes 31, Huskies 17.
I've got Ohio State 28, Washington 14. I think this game's close going into the 3rd quarter, but Ohio State, again, just a faster speedboat.
Yeah, I think that there's been an overreaction too, guys. I think 13.5 was more the sweet spot for this one. And I think there's been an overreaction. It's almost like because nobody saw Ohio State play last week and they forget what they're capable of. And it got bet all the way down, which you rarely see. I think there's going to be some late money on the Buckeyes here. And so I'm glad that we got it at 7.5. I like the Buckeyes by 2 touchdowns as well in this one. Give me Ohio State 30-16, something like that. Right around the scores you guys have. It feels like a 2-touchdown win for me. I can't wait to see it, though. It's one of those ones that you feel like you wait for, and that scene is going to be spectacular. Enjoy it. We'll be back here Monday to break it all down. Rothman and Ice continue the fun coming up next. Thanks for listening, buddy. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can have.